Alright, calm the fuck down. Calm down. Dude, we didn't even fucking start yet, and the botting already started. Listen, whoever I know who it is. Like, I don't know who it is, but, like, I know generally who it is. Send me your demands, okay? I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do at this point. Dude, YouTube got so ass. They used to purge that shit, like, midstream if you get, like, viewbotted and stuff, so it was never, like, a problem before. But now this shit goes on, like, all fucking stream. It's so annoying. No, it is that serious because I know what the fuck he's trying to do. I know what he's trying to do. I know exactly what he's trying to do. It's a strat. You you guys don't consider that there wait, what the fuck? You guys fail to consider that there is always a bigger picture to these things, okay? Somebody is botting me at the moment. It's not just that they're botting me. They're botting me because they're attempting to do something, and what I think that thing is try to get my channel terminated for botting or accuse me of doing it. I think that is the long-term goal. Okay, it's never in this space. Okay, never take things by the first step or on the surface level. There is always more to it. For example, as I contemplated to myself the other day, why exactly did Diorio call in midstream? And I realized exactly what I think he's trying to do. I legit think he wants like to you have like the snark left types or whatever, and then the fucking like this is gonna sound so schizo, but like someone suggested it, and I was like kind of thinking it myself. But it's like, what if there's just like a strat to like get everyone mad at me because because of like some like secret cabal pact that they think is going on or whatever the fuck. 5 seconds in, and Gaiden all. What is there? There is always. There would be no. I would love to get on here. It's like Happy by Kevin McLeod, sitting here smiling. Okay, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. But things are happening. Things are happening. Things are occurring, and I can't just pretend otherwise, can I? You are actually insanely delusional. Maybe it's time I see a psychiatrist. Listen, man, listen. I've been becoming more conspiracy brained as of late. Like, I've been getting this feeling as I've been out. I've been getting this feeling as I've been out that, like, I'm being watched. And it's just a coincidence, but every time I look, there's always a silver car in the lot. And over time, I've started to become legitimately more and more convinced that I'm being stalked by a group of people. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm not schizophrenic. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyways, do you guys? Well, I guess I'll save a second. Um, but no, I mean, if you want, like, for full transparency's sake, since November of the 29th, I have messaged with Diorio approximately 11 times. We've called 3 times. Um, am I friends with him? No, I don't consider myself friends with him. Do I hate him? No. Am I cordial with him at this point? Um, maybe I might need to use a better word here. Like, I'm friendly, I guess, but I have no interest in like creator friendships at this point because you've like these expectations who you like what you're like you feel like it's all on like a string or whatever, like, or it's on a thin string because what was the fuck, a thread hanging by a thread. it because like if you associate with the wrong person, if you talk like it just breaks like that. It's completely pointless. But somehow that like literally turned into I'm like bought and paid for, as if like this guy's like fucking APAC or some shit. Thank you for the two from Souls. Starting on no reason, or I read that one. Much appreciated. Soul with the other two. It's warming up. Summer's coming. It's not icy. Icy chat was a fad of 25. Okay, we've moved on from it at this point. Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy. Be glad that it happened. Okay. So am I included? I actually haven't looked at any of this recent Epstein shit. I mean, I'm not gonna do it today. I don't know if anyone would ever be interested in an Epstein leak deep dive at some point. When maybe if I get around to making that kick channel. Um, it's funny because people keep saying the Epstein files. Everyone knows about these files, but nobody really knows. The dangerous part for me was that you have people that are just everyone, including myself, justifiably angry about this. You have a sort of a mob mentality that's co-occurring with like the QAnon shit, and the files. Like if you like look at files for unrelated like cases from like the FBI vault and shit, they include a lot of irrelevant shit. People get mentioned who have nothing to do with the case, etc. And if I remember correctly, it was like Sky News or somebody who I don't like that channel. Where they said like just because your name is in the Epstein files doesn't mean you're like guilty or whatever. And they got like ratioed to shit. But when you think about it, they're actually like correct technically because like for example, apparently there was a photo of Post Malone in the Epstein files. That's based on, I read it somewhere earlier. I could be off on this. But there was a photo of Post Malone in the Epstein files, and it shows him with two censored girls. The full image had been posted to like his Instagram or his friend's Instagram, and they look like they're in their 30s. The like two girls in the photo, like that inclusion. If you just took it at face value, you'd think, oh, this guy like was part of the pedo island or some shit. $1K viewers, yeah, dude. Chud being gone is really helping out. I'm not botting. I'm not botting. I've been botted every single stream because apparently I guess I did something to someone, and they have just been like obsessive for a year. I haven't seen like botted. I don't know, dude. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, can I do at this point? Is it time to move to Keck? Also, simultaneously, every stream VOD now is getting like ad suitability, ad suitability, ad suitability. So I'm getting a lot of yellows now, which I hadn't seen before. I don't know what's going on, man. 2026 is not going to be my year. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. This going into this year, like I feel a sense of dread. Not just for me, for everyone else. I think this is gonna be a really bad year for everyone. I don't know why I'm getting those vibes, but anyways. So do you guys now we can get into the main part, alright? Let me just make sure the title of this stream, the title of this VOD was not a joke. Okay? Do you guys remember Yo Mama? The Yo Mama guy? It's the type of shit you'd watch on like your iPod Touch when the YouTube app was a TV. Remember that shit? Remember that shit? I do. I barely remember that for some reason. I remember the Minecraft music videos and Yo Mama and Smosh. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. But the channel essentially became channels rise and channels fall, and sometimes you need to throw in the towel of defeat. I've seen that there were like big people who got super big during the Minecraft fad in the 2010s or whatever, like Deadlocks or whatever his name was. His channel, 2 million subs, completely dead. He got no views, and all the comments were just like, how do you have that many subs and get no views and shit? So he threw the towel and sold the channel. Good on him. Good on him. But it's very interesting to watch some people resist the natural process that is channel death. And I've spoken about this before, but Yo Mama, the Yo Mama YouTube channel, has put up one of the longest fights I've ever seen to drag on this bit that died over a decade ago. It's like the socially awkward kid that somebody laughs at like a bit or a joke he does, and then he just keeps doing it, not like to death. And now it's not like funny anymore, but he doesn't stop because all I can think about is, oh, that got me like positive attention the first time. That's what the channel is. Let's just a refresher. Let's see what they're up to nowadays on the Yo Mama YouTube channel. Oh, the other thing too is everything is re-uploaded. So he'll make sexualized videos now and re-uploaded videos. Like 500 times. There's not even new videos on this channel. I think it's just like constant re-uploads. But like it's very sexualized now as well, which is like weird. But you can see the views. Like he's a 5 million sub channel, 3.4K views, 3K views, 3.3K, 2.8K. It's a dead channel. I just want to see one of these to figure out. Maybe he's managed to take this old format and modernize it for the times. Maybe he's just slept on, and maybe this shit still is funny.
Yo mama's so cool. She made it.
Wow! That was really cool.
Okay. Why does everybody keep Google uses her?
Sorry. Point. This channel sucks. I mean, it's just like there's so many videos, like if people get nostalgic and want to go back and like, you know what? Maybe there's some method to his madness, right? Because if a video's going out every single day, and the videos on average get 2,000 to 4,000 views, if he just keeps spamming this shit out and it keeps getting the same views from, I don't even want to know what type of person is watching this, he's probably making some additional money off of this. But just like his channel died, and the channel never really modernized, but he used his persona, I guess, I've seen this happen a few times. So he was notable for this channel. I think his name is what? I forget the guy's name, but he goes by Brody Fox or whatever. But on the Yo Mama Twitter account over the years, he's come up time and time again. He's made controversial left-leaning tweets. Me being a leftist myself, I'm sympathetic to the guy, albeit I think we're all like insanely fucking cringe. So I haven't seen the specific nature of his tweets, but I know that he got notable on Twitter doing that. And apparently he's been up to some other projects behind the scenes. And well, this culminated in some problems for him as of late. If milking his channel wasn't enough, and milking engagement with controversial political tweets wasn't enough, well, what is the natural step that a washed-up YouTuber goes through to acquire more money? I think you know where this is going. No, he didn't make an OnlyFans, to my knowledge. He decided to launch a meme coin, Yo Mama coin, like many do, I guess, whenever they just have nothing else to exist for on the internet other than monetary gain because their reputation's in tatters and they're totally washed up. But he releases this meme coin, and the response he gets is overwhelming, is pretty negative. But let's see this post, okay? Let's see this post. The title was designed to grab attention. Now stop reading for a moment. Look at the comments and see how many normies are angry at me. Most of them haven't read what I'm about to say. After all, the algorithm does love angry people. Wow, such hard-hitting insight. So how the hell did I get involved in a Yo Mama meme coin? Was it curiosity, money, or did I get psyop? It's a combination of all three. Crypto Twitter talks about creator capital markets where we as creators are turned into their next money-making opportunity. I'm sure there's a sexier way to express this idea, but it's true. They want to make money off the idea of how far-reaching our ideas are. Creator capital markets has been a fun jerk-off term for people in CT where they express that we as creators can now create a market within crypto, but do crypto bros actually believe in creators, or do they just market us to create their profit for a fancy dinner to fulfill their Instagram fantasies? Or do we, as creators, actually take control of an opportunity that gives us more freedom? It's complicated. I'm Zach James, and you might know me for Yo Mama There's just something about this that is so depressing, dude. It's like for me, I had like a big had like a big drama like a decade ago at this point, right? And it's like inside like I cringe when it gets brought up now. It's like that was like 10 years ago, dude. You still remember it? That's what you know me for, bro. It's like a little embarrassing. And it's like the Yo Mama fad happened. It's cringe in hindsight. But this is the only thing, like, yeah, I'm notable for being the Yo Mama guy. It's just such like a sad concept. And you might know me for Yo Mama jokes, the animated bite-sized cartoons that went viral around the globe. You might not know about my actual history within the social media industry. I turned down prospects of a political career where I've been shaped via the American Legion youth programs. Instead, I've begun YouTube in my grandparents' trailer yelling in a bathroom. By the end of 2009, bro, YouTube accepted me into their creator partnership program at the time. This was nearly impossible for many to get into. It required a higher level manual review from within YouTube. Within 3 months, I began generating a living from my content. In 2011, Machinima, a YouTube network, signed me as one of their first creators. No, I didn't do gaming, I simply gained an audience. Shortly afterwards, I'd moved out to Los Angeles, where I began meeting with various executives within a new growing industry. It was okay, I don't need the he writes like an amateur video essayist that's like copying the internet anarchist thing. Or just like we need the details of literally everything. Yo Mama would later launch in July of that same year. My roommate at the time asked if I had any ideas for an animated series. I just happened to ask my audience what their best Yo Mama jokes were, only to be surprised by the largest amount of comments I'd ever received on a single video. Dude, okay. Side tangent. Do you know, okay, when I was a kid, I went to summer camp. And late at night in the bunk, we were all like making jokes. And somebody made a Yo Mama joke to somebody else. And one of our counselors, he had to be 20. He had to be the age that I am now. This would have been what? I think this would have been like 2015. I don't know. But one of the counselors was like, he like stood up and he's like, something about, I think it was when he was in school. I don't remember. There was some context. He's like, this kid thought it was real funny, making a Yo Mama joke. And then, as he later found out, the other kid, the kid he was talking to, his mother was actually dead. So don't make jokes like that because you never know. And it was like the most like weird, like he gave like it was like a whole like dramatic monologue. Bro thought he was like the main character. I was like 10 or 11. It's like, cool story, bro. Yo Mama would later launch in July of that same year. My roommate at the time asked if I had any ideas for an animated series. I just happened to ask my audience what their best Yo Mama jokes, or only be surprised with a large amount of comments to receive a single video. It felt like a no-brainer. Short, bite-sized, animated Yo Mama jokes. We would go on to co-produce it with an initial investment for 5,000 USD around the same time. Google was spending $1 billion on new original YouTube channels, along with an additional $1 billion in marketing. We've managed to outperform 99% of those channels. Over the next few years, I've begun pitching my vision for the future to CEOs within the industry. We needed content houses where creators can work and produce more videos together. We needed a better term than YouTuber to account for new platforms like Vine. We needed better services beyond what MCNs were providing. Dude, I hate YouTube, bros. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want to like drag the file on and be done with it. These guys are talking about like MCNs and getting invited to like fucking keynotes at like the Google headquarters or whatever, and talking about like the creator rights and shit. It's like, bro, tone it down, tone it down. YouTube bros are so annoying. Just like drag the file onto your fucking, put a lazy title and let it upload and be done with it. Fuck this site. Content houses became the norm. Influencers became the new term. Suddenly, my vision for the future became a present day reality. The term influencer being utilized instead of YouTuber was a disaster because, for those of you that don't recall, when Tommy C went into his death spiral, he thought he would like think he had the hardest lines ever. So he's talking about Queeman. He's like, this guy, he wants to be a fucking influencer. You're an influencer that can't influence. And he thought that was like the hardest line and shit. He's like, an influencer that can't influence. And it was like, the secondhand embarrassment was just like so fucking bad. Like, get grandpa back in the house. Listen, all credit to Tommy. We got some great, Tommy gave us some great content, okay? It was very funny in hindsight. And all things considered, you know what? I'm grateful for the endless amounts of content that Tommy provided. Chat is deader than Yo Mama. I was gonna make a joke about your mother, but then I realized she was unironically dead, so I'll refrain. Content house. Okay, anyways, some animators hated me. How dare you make cartoons but not be an animator? Okay, he's right on this. Animators, online animators and artists are the most like gatekeepy, like neurotic, like uptight, like stick up their ass people you'll like ever meet. I'm sure that actually happened. YouTubers hated me. How dare you re-uploaded your cartoons into compilations? CEOs hated me. How dare you dude, this guy thinks he's like you're not a threat. You're not a threat to anyone. Nobody like people hate you because like they find your content like annoying. There's something like exceptional. You're not some like master villain that like that's what CEOs are obsessing over trying to stomp me. My entire career has pissed off nearly half the industry. That didn't stop me from getting over 10 million fans, 5 billion views, and 7 YouTube awards. And years later, most of them did exactly everything I did. Okay. Also, another rule, if you haven't accomplished anything in the last 10 years, you should not be able to cite your accomplishments from the previous 10. It's cheating. It's cheating. Because every time, so I won all these awards. This play button hasn't been made since, when did the new play buttons come out? This is like the vintage one. But like all these things he's citing about himself, this is all from like the like early 2010s and shit. You don't get to do that anymore. If you haven't done anything in the 10 years since, why do you need to go back that far to find accomplishments? What the fuck have you been doing for the last decade? Just like sitting on your ass and fucking tweeting? Back in 2016, someone owed me payment and asked if I would take it in Bitcoin. I knew about the general concept of crypto, so I said sure. Okay, I feel like I'd be like a little suspicious if someone wanted to pay me in Bitcoin online. This was my first introduction to creating a wallet. Now, being the autistic man that I am, I started diving deeper into better understanding crypto as a whole. Learn more about the core thesis of the technology, what an altcoin was, and the general price of Bitcoin. I found it both fascinating and quite intimidating. This was an area that I would be better suited to by sitting back and observing. Fast forward to the summer of 2021, my former co-producer reached out to me about an opportunity. This is when I first heard of something called an NFT, which would quickly become a hated term by most of society. Wait, is he drawing parallels to the fact that the discrimination he faced as Yo Mama, as the Yo Mama channel, and he's like, they're doing the same thing to NFTs now. He's like resonating with the discrimination. Dude, can we make the Yo Mama channel like a protected category? Whoa. Whoa. The dude is a revolutionary. Yeah, he's a man who was given he's an activist that was dealt some bad cards, okay? But I was there when Yo Mama dropped Yo Mama So Gross number 50. I was there when Yo Mama re-uploaded the Yo Mama So Sexy edit for the 5th time. I was there when Brody Fox marched down the Edmund Pettus Bridge to stop the discrimination against the NFT bros and the Yo Mama channels. All valid concerns that got mixed into the buzzwords related to crypto, causing these concerns to quickly go viral, even though we face these same concerns in every other aspect of our society. Instead of turning away from crypto, I decided to dive deeper to better understand what exactly was happening. Are these people genuinely excited about what they're building, or just scammers? Is everyone a crypto bro, or is there a mix of people with their own personalities? I began joining CT Twitter spaces and listen in. Most of these are cringe with folks hyping one another up. Several of them were quite interesting with artists, experts from various industries, and actual ooh, holy shit! Yeah. Anyways, soon I bought my first NFT with the idea of attending an event. I wanted to see what kind of people actually showed up, expecting it to mostly be wannabe alpha males participating in a dick measuring contest. I was wrong. It was like walking into Pancakes and Booze, an annual art show that brings together a variety of people that appreciate creative works and culture. Yeah, dude, NFT bros appreciate culture. $5 from Call Me Bro. Holy shit, that's a big donut. Will you be watching when Yo Mama goes to Fat Camp with LolCal Live? No. Any real drama goes to die on LolCal Live because nobody will ever trust that anything that comes out of its development on that platform, nobody will ever trust that it's fucking real because there's a good chance it isn't. That's a small content mindset. When we were at our height, if I had reached out to Keem and proposed tonight, I could have my own lolcow. I could have my own lolcow show. I could. But I'm a bigger man than that. Unlike broke Tommy. Spent so much money on food and video games, sitting on his ass all day, not working, that his wife, who works hard every day and should be preparing for a fruitful retirement, is forced to move to a smaller, crummier house in the slums of Germany. When Aiden turns 40, he'll be. I'm not making it that long. That experience shifted my perspective further. I started attending more local events and gatherings, sit back, listen, and observe, though it didn't limit my exposure to some of the worst people I've ever met. Yes, there were crypto bros that I would later encounter. They would start verbal fights with me as if I somehow offended them by simply being there. I've come to learn that those people would later launch scams and rug pulls, one of whom was involved in the Hawk 2 shit storm. The Web3 scene has. Oh, by the way, unironically, on the Hawk 2 shit, I think she should be, like, given an out. I actually think, like, Haley Welch should be forgiven because, and hear me out, I legitimately believe that she was too fucking stupid to be able to consent to, like, what this crypto bro is, like, having her go run with and do. Is that, like, a defense? She literally is so fucking dumb, I actually don't believe for a second she had any idea what she was doing. What? Aiden already falling for another e-girl? I don't like blondes. The Web3 scene of the same good and bad qualities in my social media industry. Great people, terrible assholes, genuine intent, money, hungry, creative works, brain rot slop, meme coins, and the Yo Mama psyop. Wait, who did I scam? Calling women dumb? There are some dumb women. I don't know what to say. So you're okay with doxing and scamming. Wow. You know what? I'm okay with everything. Any accusation hurled against me is true. It's all true. All of it is true. I am pro. I'm actually, me and Toki have been arms dealing to some of those vicious cartels anyone could ever imagine. Okay, I'm okay with all of it, man. This is actually a front for my criminal enterprise. Aiden thinks women are too stupid to consent. Some of them are. Some men are. Dude, and I don't mean this like about, I was friends with this kid when I had to have been like 15 or whatever. He unironically legit had like an IQ of 80 because like he brought it up to like ask, like he's like that's like okay, right, or whatever. And I had to explain to him the unfortunate news. And it was, dude, someone like him, I just, like, I don't think he can consent to anything. Saying you don't like blondes is saying you don't like, no, not that I dislike them as people. I'm just not, I guess, attracted to blonde. That's just not my preference. People are always chasing a new trend about social media and crypto. Recent meme coins have become the main subject to talk. On that Bitcoin, the concept result isn't new. The deployment has become much easier thanks to platforms like Pumped Up Fun, which every washed up YouTuber has been called out by CoffeeZilla for running a scam on. I don't know why you'd ever want to be linked with that. What? What is the question? Aiden what? Because when you fucking say Aiden, you have to follow it up with something, or else I don't know what, like, that is my name. Yeah, that is my name. Move on to his recent tweet. No, we were just gonna stay on this one tweet the entire segment. It's not like I have, like, the URLs and everything, and was preparing to move on when we finish this. Anyways, where was I? Wildlife photography of a lonely penguin, meme coin. Viral TikTok, a warrior skeleton beating his shield, meme coin. The Yo Mama brand has been lifted dozens of times without permission and turned into meme coins as well, none of which I had any involvement with. I've often felt this was too risky for many reasons. These coins can die quickly while leaving a long-lasting damage on both the brand and reputation. Earlier in 2025, a company emailed me offering a $300,000 minimum guarantee. They presented a deck containing example marketing images, their creator network, Web3 partners, and overall plan. It honestly felt pervasive They also didn't expect me to know more than most creators. The questions about trading fees, market making, and the location of their legal entities surprised them. It gave me better insight on how creators could fall for these opportunities, simply due to a large knowledge gap. If you asked me last week to launch a meme coin, I would have said no. I've always been adamant about not doing it. Then the PSYOP. Dude, is his argument he launched a meme coin because he was PSYOP? In recent weeks, creators have been offered trading fees for coins already made using their brand and image. You were told there is no strings attached, no requirement to promote the coin. It's presented as a simple thank you. Ed Basemaster is a recent example of creators being psyoped into this, though there's many others that I've come to learn about, ranging from IG artists to storybook authors. At this point, I was unaware of this new meta due to having my head buried deep into my work. What work do you do? The only accomplishments you can cite are from like 2011. What work do you do? You just re-upload shit all day. Checking in on the crypto world and then back to work. I should have been more aware. Over the course of 2 days, I saw replies to my tweets offering trading fees for a Yo Mama coin already created. I'd initially ignored it, but the persistence via both replies and DMs led to me finally responding out of curiosity. It seems straightforward. Here's $1,800 generated from trading fees. We need your Solana wallet. I've looked over the coin. I saw it go up and down, giving me a sense that there's no more life in this project. I was told I didn't promote it. Everything seems straightforward. It was also the first time someone offered to pay me back for... Are you serious, bro? You can't go and like You can't you can't go and like divulge all your experience and shit, like how astute you are. You're like literally. If anyone emails me, if I'm a fucking washed up YouTuber and anyone emails me with even mention of like Solana or some fucking shit, just block them. Just block them. When has this ever gone good? For like, he's had to have seen. He knows Boogie, right? Or he had to have known, but they came up around the same time. At least he definitely knows of Boogie. Like everyone thinks they're like I don't even know if they legitimately think this, but they all pretend like there's something different about their meme coin. This time it will work. Meme coins are, I mean, in some cases, you have idiots like Haley Welch that might legitimately believe that. Most of the time they don't. They're just trying to sell it to fans or whatever. But hold on. Yo! Thank you. Oh, never mind. The PSYOP is, it will never happen to me. It's so easy to not have this happen to you. Go invest in real estate. Go invest in real estate. You want to make some fucking money? You want to make some money? I'm so jealous, dude. In 2020, some guy was like telling me about like the California exodus and shit, and he was saying that like the specific area we were in at that given time, property value was going to skyrocket because this would be the natural location they were going to come to, and I'm pretty sure property value over there like doubled, dude. If me and a few, I was a child, but listen, if we got together all of our piggy banks, we could have bought some like crack shack downtown, flipped it, and then sold it to some Californian for double the price, okay? Cover Tommy C. He's snarking Augie. Aiden, do what we want. Do what we want. We hate you. We spit on you, but cover all the snarky things we like. I'll cover that. It sounds interesting, but I'm not covering it because you told me to. And if you do want me to cover it, feel free to, or link it in the inbox, I guess. Was it that simple? No. It quickly became far more complicated. My Soul wallet was connected. Oh, also, by the way, the solution to the rent in California is literally Soviet housing blocks, which we just need to stop being so, like, disgusted by. Just these giant, like, dystopian, like, apartment blocks all over, like, LA and San Francisco. Like, it'd be great. In an effort to create transparency with my followers, my new tweet caused the coin to crash. Crypto bros were replying with hate and anger. Some even posted threats that they would track me down. Then, in an effort to show support for Yo Mama, my next tweet caused some fans to call me a scammer, sellout, and grifter. The "my goat is washed" meme is now baked into my brain. Whose goat are you? What the fuck do you do? What do you do? This is like if in 2010 I made a channel called Like a Boss, and like to this I'm just like I just name like random things I'm doing and insert like a boss or whatever after it, like in 2026. What the fuck are you doing? Who are you? Whose goat are you? Get a fucking grip. My next tweet caused some fans to call me a scammer, sellout, and grifter. Oh wait, I already read that. I can never escape pissing people off. The two tweets led to a sudden surge in trading fees, which generated my potential monthly revenue within hours. The effect caught me off guard and doubt what I was doing. I had to pause myself and figure out how I'm going to go handle this in a way that felt true to me. This term, creator capital market, sounds like something a frat boy created on his first day after being hired by his daddy's company. How much more? Okay, that's quick. We'll go through this quick, and then we'll get to Tommy C. Okay? 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 Sounds good? Sounds good, people? Sounds good? Well, then that's what we're doing. You don't have control over the liquidity pool. You don't own the supply or have any meaningful control over it. You can't drain wallets, honeypot the money, create new supply, etc. You simply collect the trading fees. Why might this seem appealing? Social media platforms have been waging war on creators and users for years now, all of which is getting worse thanks to their new AI moderation tools that cut back on human spending. Meta, false bans for CSE content. I'll let you Google that one. YouTube, false bans for spam, scams, and deceptive content. TikTok, false bans for unoriginal content. I become a victim with Meta and TikTok this past year, which led to me taking legal action to resolve those issues. I often have to repeat these steps every 4 to 6 months, whereas YouTube's AI moderation hurt my channel during COVID. Due to an unrelated data set pulled from a Wikipedia article. Suddenly, the platforms that give me freedom are beginning to restrict me, putting me in a constant cycle of getting ahead and being pulled behind, never able to break free to make that next creative move. In a twist of irony, the past week of chaos has given me more freedom than I had in years. Ideas stuck in development hell now seem possible. But is this really possible? Does CT's thesis really work? The fact is, they need it to work. Watching most Web3 content and influencers is like watching your cooked up uncle trying to recreate the 90s MTV era. It's sadder than a funeral. True. They repeat the same jokes that only CT will get, yet they expect to somehow appeal to a wide audience. Most of their influencers have a smaller audience. Some of this, Brody, you could be applying to yourself here. Most of their influencers have a smaller audience size than the average successful influencer. That's assuming the larger ones aren't flooded with bots or dead accounts burnt out by crypto. The whole creator capital market is a make or break it theory for them, which requires the perfect storm and support for it to work. What's the future? I'm going to outline my thoughts, ideas, and next steps. Also acknowledging I'm still processing everything before I begin. However, I'd like to make something very clear. My morals and values have not changed. I'll still volunteer my time, platform, and resources for causes I believe effectively will voice. This is not negotiable to me. In fact, if you care about this, I'd be surprised if you read it until this part. This, you know who's really resisting and making the change in America as the authoritarian boot of the Trump fascistic regime comes down on us? You know who really resists and makes the difference, ladies and gentlemen? Brody Fox. So you know what, Brody? I don't care if you stole the money. Keep fucking fighting the good fight. More Lyotent? There is no Lyotent. What is there to cover on Lyo? He's not... All things considered, this is what I say about Lyo, right? It's no secret that I thought he's like all the things I think about him. I've made that clear. If I'm right, though, that he hasn't changed, I will need to do nothing. Nobody will need to do anything because he will do it to himself. However, I'll just, if I'm proven wrong, then those things aren't going to reoccur, and then there's not really a problem. Aiden, your chat is so dead. You've come in here to say that 4 times, not making a single contribution. Okay. Can you go over Augie becoming... Yeah, I'll cover it. Why not? All right, we're gonna go over it. We're coming back to this though. I gotta finish this. It gets funnier. But for 2 seconds, I'm just turning on the air. Then we're gonna check this out. All right, I'm back. Yeah. So let's get into this. Tommy C, my good old bud, my good old pal, is apparently live talking about my other good old friend and pal, augierfc. And this is really just like exactly what I wanted to fucking cover, bro. Dude, is everybody getting botted today? Tommy C does not have 300 viewers.
Doing this for a long time. They're like Destiny or anybody else. They make them laugh. He entertains them. And he does what he did with fucking Augie. He sees the best in them. And then they turn out to be rats because there's a lot of rats in this thing. Like 8 out of 10 guys in this business are rats. That's what it is.
Really? Really? It's like SpongeBob, like the image where he's trying to look for like a suspect, and the wanted poster is literally just him.
It's a bit like a jar, but not as autistic. Yeah, he's not as autistic as the other two. Yeah, sure. So that's how I feel about Augie. You want to A-log the lower guy on the totem pole, you feel free.
Where is this like totem pole shit come from? Nobody, I've said it before, the term like totem pole, and like I know what a totem pole is and shit, but like I never hear that used anymore. Like it just doesn't come up in my life. I feel like it has come up more in the last month or the last 30 days than it has in 5 years of my life. Like just that word. It's everywhere.
But that seems like the judgment of somebody who doesn't want to grow, and heard it from somebody else, which is what I'm used to. I'm used to you hearing, hearing and regurgitating and following.
I've been keeping up with the Augie Tommy sub drama, so am I missing anything?
Other people. I mean, when now he was 15 when he said that, but when the whole thing with Crown T came out, and that he may have a doxing server, I literally got a say it ain't so message from him. I was like, no, first of all, nobody's named me, and I didn't dox anybody. But why are you friends with that guy, Kraut? Kraut was the bad guy at that point, which he recovered from. I was like, I don't know any. I'm going to throw somebody on the bus because it's just, it's politically convenient for me. That's not who I am. And I've never done that. I've always stuck it out, regardless how bad it is. Well, that ends today. I don't really want to. I'd rather.
Oh, okay. So the mask is coming off. We're getting angry Tommy. Hold on, I gotta ask him a question. I'll ask him a question in his chat. What happened between you and Augie, buddy? Let me ask him.
Hang out with guys in their 30s and stuff. I don't think it's that unreasonable. So, do your worst, Augie. But I gotta be honest with you. I'm not the one that got scared away from Salvo. And I'm not.
That's a lot. Listen, I won't say. I won't. What Tommy likes to do is when he comes to you, like when you do know him in a proper context, he comes to you as like you could say anything to me, man. Like and then like the second you are out of his good graces, he will throw anything and everything at the fucking wall. He completely like misinterpreted or exaggerated something he heard about my personal life. So then when he's like beefing with me, he's now telling people that I was like hospitalized in a psychiatric ward or whatever. Which isn't accurate, to be clear.
You check and remind me. Did he say that Willie was a liar for that. Was in one of his response video that really only.
Did you just spawn in here, or were you instructed? These people are so schizo. Who is instructing me to do anything? I'm being shit on in all directions. Nobody's coming to me asking me to do shit, bro.
Only Spicy Chat watched. And his fans of Spicy Chats watched that. He did? Well, he's not a liar. That means Nick's a liar too. Because everybody, I knew this, and this is something that happened. Like he had other things going on. That's true. But I knew it broke him, and this is not when Nick told me this, and a lot of other people told me this at the time. And it wasn't like, oh, you're a pussy, get off. It was like, oh shit, I got empathy for you. That guy was really awful. Salvo was fucking awful. But yeah, Salvo, you did chase him off the internet. That's a fact.
Why would you? I already, there was already a leak on my end because of this. But like, since it's already public, because we've already been over this before, Augie's departure was for multiple reasons. That might have been, I think I used the term straw that broke the camel's back. I don't even know if that's an accurate assertion, that was the final thing that did it. I'm sure that contributed somewhat. Like if you believe that there is somebody out there that is like unhinged enough to be trying to find you IRL and shit and whatever, like Salvo like kind of went off his rocker for a while there. For some people that might be the time to like say, if you weren't enjoying this anymore to begin with, just like throw the towel in and say this shit's not worth it. Especially when he found other ways he could make just as much, if not more money than he was presently making off his channel.
It's a fact. Or Nick DiOrio is a liar. And everybody else I heard that pretty much knew that was the case. It's not like a major revelation, but you have to wonder if he was like, so if he had experienced that sort of bullying or whatever you want to call it, why was he so hard on Willie, a guy that never done a thing to him? I know, because that's what the authority figure wants. This time it was a group. It was Queeman. And I mean, after not seeing what they did to, hey, I know that Aiden's a moron. I'm well aware of Aiden being a moron.
Whoa!
Right? But you saw what they did to him, right? Went in his computer, met him in London, told everybody he was a fucking loser. That's what I said these people were. I mean, like,
Incorrect. They're very good friends of mine. And I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, Augie. Got like 30 years on you. I know what bad people are like that are adults. And I said I think it is. I think, you love to use the word cope and whatever, young person saying is quality. But I mean, honestly, I think you going to them and acting like a big blowhard, saying you're going to A-log the lower guy, is you.
Who's the lower guy? Who is he talking about here? Who's going after the lower guy?
You know I'm right. You know you're not that bright at some level, and you know you're a regurgitator and a follower. You know you've been very, very lucky. You're the Forrest Gump of the YouTube commentary community. Things just kind of broke your way because you were generally pleasant. And
who is he talking about here? Who the fuck is this about Augie?
Severely autistic or weird, like Tipster and Bobax and Flamenco. And with Doc on the radio. These are your friends.
He's talking about
John
Augie.
Swan was
He's talking about Augie. He's talking about Augie.
Fucking weirdo.
I've said this to Augie for years. Augie, in my opinion, the quality about him that makes me like him the most, and simultaneously his biggest like flaw, is that he is insanely loyal, and he has vested loyalty sometimes in the past in like people it was just not worth being loyal to at all or having faith in at all. I'm not religious or anything, but Augie seems very like principled about that stuff, like very adamant on like trying to be like a good person and whatever. And like, if you lost a kidney, that guy would be the first giving it to you. But I think in like the past, that's the reason so many of his associations have kind of like been stained, because even when there were just signs that wasn't enough for him to distance because he's insanely loyal.
Oh, I was unhinged. I said, Ackman.
And I'm not trying to glaze. I'm not trying to glaze or anything. I've talked my shit about Augie. I've talked plenty of shit about, like, not in like a way of like, oh, I hate him or whatever. Me and Augie disagree on plenty. You could ask him. But that's just true.
It was fucking. I said Ackman was unhinged. You said I was unhinged. I said Mama Max was unhinged. You and Bobax had a ball at my expense when he made a video on me, basically calling me a pedophile. You had an absolute ball at my expense, you know. And then now this guy Chud, which I tried to warn you during your, I don't know, the frat boy stream you did with Connor. Tried to tell you, but you weren't hearing it. You weren't having it. So whatever.
What is the point of this dialogue? If I was doing this, by the way, if I was when the bridge between me and Nick was burnt, Tom's like, this guy's crying on stream or whatever. What are you doing right now with Augie?
Make it your thing. You know, there's no politics to play anymore because the commentary community is gone. I don't have to like watch what I say about you, and you don't have to do the same.
Commentary community is gone. It's been gone. You're the last one off the train. Like always, we've known this. We've known this. That's why nobody took Tommy seriously when he was acting like your careers are all gonna fail and you're gonna be on your own island because people weren't in with Nick and Willie and him and their little clique. It's like you don't need to be in the old community. You had to like to be known to be you had to be like in with the guys. You had to be in with the guys. Before I even knew what the fuck a Diorio was, it used to be like when commentary was mostly British, like Lads on Tour and Pyro's whole fucking group or whatever. But everyone knew this was over, except you now, but you'll still simultaneously try to act like you're a fucking prophet anyways.
Yeah, I think Augie's a bit of a snake. I think it's just a YouTuber syndrome. He does what he does first, and I think all of us do that.
It's just not true. It's just not true. It's just not like, listen, I'm like an OCD moral bag about the truth, okay? That's why I like crash out when people accuse me of lying. This is completely false if you know Augie, and I'm not saying there are people that I like that I think like there was one exchange with Chud where it's like, okay, if you want to say he's a bit snaky for that, I guess be my guest. I don't particularly care, but I can maybe see how from your perspective you got to that conclusion. Whatever. Augie is the least snaky person ever did.
But I think Augie sees the value of a human being or what they know or their knowledge or their background based on YouTube. I accused him that when he's 15. I think he's still emotionally 15.
Augie, he's doing what he did to me now to Augie. For me, you're 16. Now Augie's 15. Also, I don't even think Tommy knew Augie when he was 15. How old was Augie when how old is Augie now? How old was Augie when After Hours was fucking at its peak or whatever? I know that I'm older now than he was then.
I don't really see all that much. He hasn't grown that much, that's for sure. I mean, do you ever see him in a mosh pit? It's a low blow. You know?
He's just throwing everything at the wall. It's like, yeah, go for appearance when you have to keep your camera up here because your grotesque abdominal obesity fucking spills out whenever you move the lower portion of your body, despite your desperate attempts to suck in that never-ending gut. So it's yeah, Augie is short as fuck. Augie is short as fuck. But they're like, oh, that was too mean. That was a low. That wasn't too mean because it's coming from a guy with a fucking mutated bowling ball for a stomach.
5'0" guy, 5'5" guy that got fooled by Nick Fuentes, genius. That I don't know, sees himself as a corrector of sexual deviance. Is that what his thing is? Willie got Destiny, not you. No matter how much you hate him. And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, Augie sees himself as a corrector of sexual deviance. So true. What has happened with Augie in the last 48 hours, by the way? What was the call-in? Apparently there was a call-in on J-Stocks where once again Jay Stock and Queeman allegedly browbeat another good faith individual into accepting their position alone. No, I don't know what the nature of this column was. I feel like there's like context that I'm missing.
With you, those guys Dickers and
True.
and J Stock and Wayman, they're not that good at this.
Well, two of those you'd be correct, Tommy. Two of those I can get by. Tommy was right about Dickers.
And I think you know that now.
I'm kidding. I know he accused Dickers. He accused Dickers of trying to manufacture a sexual assault allegation against them or some fucking crazy shit.
Oh, yeah, and I'm talking to you directly because you haven't streamed yet because it's not all in yet. And
What?
You're waiting for it.
What is that?
Take that how you want to take that. And I get why you're not streaming.
Oh, is he saying it hasn't settled enough yet where he could figure out what take is safe or whatever?
But I don't know why you're running into the arms of people that wanted the worst for you.
Who?
They play good cop, bad cop. Jay Stock's a good cop. They have the same fucking goals.
Jay Stock is not the good cop, bro.
You know what? I'll end it here.
His bitch needs a good cop to escort her in to reclaim her stuff that's in his house.
I'm not going to waste my breath. You're impossible to teach. There you go.
Eating disorders, being into age play, along with a litany of other
Does
complete.
anybody else want to correct me or say challenge me or whatever?
No, I was just waiting for this rant to be over.
Go ahead. Oh, you just want to go into the regular shit?
Yeah, no, I don't care about the commentary community at all. It's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, who cares? Literally who? Literally who?
Who's in this call?
The word cope and whatever, I'm sorry, I can't deal with anybody that's stupid. And the truth of the matter is, he's not mad at me. Truth. He can explain away anything. Yeah, Nick won. Nick Diori is on his bed. And he's got his own thing, and I don't even know how long he's going to be around. I think he's going to ascend even higher than commentary.
What do you mean that was a low blow? The fuck do you mean? My embarrassing personal pursuits, fine with airing those out. Question me on stream, I had no issue with that. Or I guess I had no moral issue with it, because I think that's fine if you're looking for the content. But it's you dish the blows, you could take it. And to be fair to Jay Stock has never, ever voiced any issue with my repeated jokes about Sherry.
Terry, that's my prediction. There you go. There's my prediction. There you go. There's my next one. So, yeah, I guess what the other thing was. So
What's
that's
the
what
next prediction?
That will fucking throw me under the bus. They won't back you up. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of being around guys that don't believe a word I say no matter what. And they can always pass it off to you. You're old, which is really the dumbest way to explain away anything. Yeah, Nick won. Nick Diori is on his bed. It's it. And he's got his own thing. And I don't even know how long he's going to be around.
Old is
old is a
mindset. Old is a mindset. And when Tommy's insulted for being old, at least I speak for myself on this. He has the mindset of just of an old bitter guy, the person that all of their influence and view of the world is derived from Fox News. They're easily tricked. They're easily duped. They just don't understand how things work nowadays, and they don't want to, and they don't try to. They're just the mindset is everything about the mindset is in the past, and you're just some old bitter boomer crying about people online all day and getting mad that he thinks the liberals want to eat people's children and shit.
Commentary. That's my prediction. There you go. There's my next one. So yeah, I guess what the other thing was. So that's what I said, and then I guess this is supposed.
I would be friends. I don't happen to have any friends right now that are that old, but I've had some of the best, most interesting conversations in my life. People that were older than Tommy. There's people that I would very well would like to be friends with. It's a mindset. It's a mindset.
Supposed to make me look really bad. You know what? If he comes up with the wrong people, if he wasn't involved in Nick Diorio stuff or Zaptai stuff or anything I think he would throw.
Don't become the guy or the gal that's sitting there talking about this would have never flown in my day and fucking just completely resistant to scared by change, scared by any form of unfamiliarity. Don't be that person, okay? Don't become that person. And I feel it happening to me already. It's these kids and their YouTube shorts. Back in my day, we used to watch Boomerang and Cartoon Network and stay up till Adult Swim came on and watch the fucking Boondocks and shit.
I think you would throw Tom on the bus. Just depends on who was
Yeah.
around. It just depends on who was around him. Yeah, and I know that's true. I know that's true. When Augie has an authority figure. One time it was Twoon, so he followed the open folders thing. Then for years it was Nick Diorio. Then it was Spicy.
So now Tommy does the thing where now, because he has an issue with you, he's going to reopen and relitigate every single drama, no matter how far back it was, despite it already being settled with them. Because he's spiteful, he's petty, and in regards to his emotional restraint and control, he is young in that regard. He does have the emotional restraint and control of a 15-year-old.
The authority figure can do no wrong, right? The authority figure is who you go to. Then it was the Spicy Chat crowd. I mean, think about it. Chud, Cleveland, all these guys tried to screw him. And by the way, there is possibly more stuff coming out, and I think he's aware of it. When he talks about the leaks, there's more coming, right? So he continues to run into their arms. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be around people that are fucking like, want my destruction. I mean, like they did run a meme, and I think it was a meme to hope it landed.
People want Chud dead. I am not colluding with or friends with the cabal. As I said before, I've spoken since November 29th. Approximately 11 DMs in total have been exchanged between me and Diora. We've spoken 3 times. I don't hate the guy. I'm not going to pretend like I do for the sake of my viewership or the audience I'm trying to appeal to. I'm not fucking morale or any to emotionally exaggerate. But, yeah, there has been, and I know this because I knew it then when I was still cool with Dioria. There has been, the first, Tommy Chud Dioria thing that was going on, and then the New Year's stream where Chud went off on Tom, it was a piece, any piece established was a piece built upon quicksand. These people hated each other, but they're like, oh, but we're cool, but everyone's complaining about each other and complaining about other people complaining about each other and shit. They hate each other and they couldn't accept it. And now it's come to a boiling point, and I think Dioria wants Chud dead or something. I don't fucking know.
And then if it didn't work, then he said, "Oh, we're just kidding." Then I sent dick pics to Kinetic Hell. Augie explained that off as get over it. People just busting your balls. No. Can I at least not be connected to them? And is it reasonable expectation that people that supposedly align with me are away from them? People are calling me.
No, it's not a reasonable expectation. No, because nobody tried to make a serious allegation against Tommy. They made a bad joke. The problem I had on principle with the joke made about Tommy is I am against jokes where the average fucking moron that scrolls the internet all day with no media literacy can reasonably interpret as potentially being real. So when you're taking clips and editing them together for the joke to make it look like he did something pedophilic, I'm against that style of joke, especially when it's publicized, because people who are retarded, and trust me, there's no shortage of those online, could click that and believe it, right? That's what I was just against it on principle. But Tommy tried to pretend like people were actually conspiring and attempting to litigate some kind of serious sexual assault claim about him. He thought Dickers was doing that. It's completely absurd. Nobody was ever trying to do that to him. And if anything, I was the most sympathetic to Tommy on this one, which made it more strange that he had secretly and quietly bridge burned because I was talking to the people that had made that joke.
Me a pedophile? Is that a reasonable expectation? Or is it just, we're kidding? Well, they don't know me like that. I'm not their friends, and they're openly calling for me and the commentary community to be destroyed. Congratulations, Augie. They accomplished it. Now you're theirs.
No,
he's
not a full-time he's not anybody.
Talk to Nick privately. I think our relationship going forward is going to be Merry Christmas. I hope I get invited to his wedding if he ever gets married. That would be awesome. I totally fly to Long Island for that.
So he's just okay.
If he decides to get married.
No, I'm not talking about.
But other than that, yeah. But no, I don't have anything to do with Augie. I think that's reasonable. How many times can you be right about something and this guy just doubles and triples and quadruples down? So I don't want to be his friend. Tom, on the other hand, we haven't been friends. We're friendly.
Oh, now all of a sudden he used to brag how he was in with the clique and getting the leaks, and we're all on our little fucking island. Who's on the island now, you fat, boring fuck? Who's on the island now? I'm on a Merry Christmas basis with Nick. I'm not cool with Augie anymore. I'm not cool with Tom anymore. Who are you cool with, Willie? I'm sure you and Willie aren't talking very frequently. Probably because Willie's, I don't know, doing whatever the fuck he's doing. You literally Your main form of existence online is working for the man that you promised you would never work for again. You violated your own principles for money. That's your existence online now, and it's sad.
I got one line of communication when I did a video about shutting him and how he put job. That's it. And I wouldn't talk to him directly. That's it. Me and Tom are not really friends. It's not that big a deal. And why should we be friends? I'm like almost 30 years a senior. And he has big shot friends like Brendan Buckingham and shit like that. So it's completely reasonable. Even Nick. Nick and me have, I mean, he's almost 30, but I mean, me and Nick are pretty distant at this point. I still care about him. I want the best for him. But as far as an alignment, no, I don't want an alignment. I don't want to be held responsible by the vultures that were brought in this community.
Notice how his tune changed. Mr. Predictor, Mr. 10 Steps Ahead, Mr. Nostradamus. He's in with Nick. He's in with Nick. Now it's like, I don't want to be aligned with him. I don't want to be aligned with him after fucking, like, to Nick's detriment, by the way. Tommy, if you want someone litigating your battle, if you have, like, your own food shops, you, like, first of all, you don't want it to be food shops. You also don't want it to be this guy.
By accident, by Nick DiOrio anymore. Augie loves the Sparks too much. Bingo. I think that just says it. It's like, I don't even hate Augie. I mean, I've never been, like, the least upset. I don't know.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset right now, guys. I'm not upset. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream so far, liking goes a very fucking long way. We need full community mobilization, okay? My chats are dead. My most loyal viewers have turned on me, but you are still here. And that is all that matters. And you can support us by liking, subbing if you're new here, tipping, super chat, Streamlabs link down below. Another great way. Always be clipping, okay? I'm stealing that from the British pedophile. See me say something, give a take on something, say something funny, say something notable, say something boring that you think someone else might find notable. All you need to do, post on Twitter, breaking, maybe red siren emojis, or not even that. Streamer Exile Laden says blank, does blank, etc. Very easy, simple process, and I will retweet it.
Like he's going to A-log me or something?
Oh, yeah, it's open season for you now. It takes a lot to piss him off, but you managed to do it, Tommy.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? It's like he was so in love with me before, and now they pushed it. Well, here's the truth. You were nothing on your own. You got extremely lucky. You are not a creative thinker. People joke behind your back that you're dim.
$2 from Patrick. Thank you so much. Once Nick drops him, Tommy will be BFFs with Lio. No. No. But I know what would happen. If the two of them had to associate together on a drama, they're both so, like, boomer-brained, out of touch. One of them's, like, autistic and stubborn. They would have the funniest drama of the century. We'd be seeing back and forth streams. It would be fucking hilarious. It would be, like, literally going to, like, an assisted living facility and paying, like, two old guys to, like, box. That's literally what it did. It would be hilarious.
And really, it's whoever you put this authority figure on, and you just kind of take it. It's almost like gospel. You'll take that as gospel. There's no creative thinking. And you know what? For somebody who's raised in a homeschool, and you're like the valedictorian and the quarterback, and all the teachers, your mom says you're smart. I could see.
He never said that. He's never said that.
Why going with the one sort of authority figure is kind of just the path of least resistance for you. Don't think you're creative. I don't think you're very funny. And I think it's kind of a bad decision to A-log the guy that you have a lot more subs than. You usually A-log the guy that's bigger than you, but I could see also that idea coming from spicy chat types because that's all they know.
Who is Augie A-logging? Who is Augie A-logging? Is Tommy talking about himself?
Oh. It's all code. It's all code from your parts. Take the criticism. That's the criticism. The criticism is you're not creative. You got very lucky from the people you're around and you don't appreciate it. You really at this point sound like Flamenco. When I was trying to tell Flamenco...
He did the thing. You know what really hits hard? When people take the one other autistic drama they know about and say, you're like this autistic drama I know about. That, you really know that it's going to be hard-hitting then. Dude, everything people were saying to me, all the criticisms, I'd never considered it. And then somebody said, Aiden, you're acting like Tipster. And all of a sudden, it was like my soul came into my body. I was like, dude, what?
Stop acting like an asshole, right? What do you need to Nick? By the way, Michael, so did I. So did Tipster. So did Bovax.
Augie made a joke on the J-Stock stream saying he's going to A-log Tommy. That'd be very funny.
And Bovax and Tipster started fucking resented it, as well as Flamenco. This is like me a couple years ago saying, Flamenco, calm down. Stop doing that. We're all here because of somebody else. Me, Keemstar.
Tommy, when I was a kid, I saw Flamenco for what he was. Tommy defended Flam. Tommy defended Flam at that point in time. Don't let him make you think that he was on the right side of that drama or on the right side of anything.
Augie and Augie and Flamenco's like, no, not that has nothing to do with it. I'm a genius. No, you fucking knew Augie and Maneker saw you. Like, show some appreciation. Everybody wants to believe when they get like somewhat of an audience that there's some kind of genius and some kind of mastermind.
He's never been like that. He's literally never been like that. He's played up the confidence, but it's not, or like cockiness as part of a person. He's never been like that.
You're kind of dim. You're not a really super smart guy. Doesn't make a bad person, but you're not dim and you rely on other people to guide you. That's not what a man does. What a follower does. Willie Mack Show. Is because the people you're around were telling you you're doing everything great. Nobody was there to really criticize you.
That's what a follower does. That's why I was litigating. That's why I was litigating fucking Diorio's drama for 3 months.
You don't do that much deep thinking to come away with like, why is this working? Why is this not working? That's why you cried to Nick, because I can't believe this happened. Well, I'll tell you why. Because above the level, the rest of the internet, Spicy Chat, when they saw the things you were saying,
Spicy Chat. You know what I used to say? Why does everyone talk about Spicy Chat? It's Icy that is the active one. Spicy won in the end. They are back. They are more active. So ultimately, you actually can make that assertion now. I just want to check something before I move on from this old man drinking himself to death on the stream. Just want to check something. Just copy the name here. Got it. Okay. You know what I have to do for checking in on Tommy, just like I check in with all my old friends. Just want to just doing a quick name search. Find the food that has been prepared with heat. Find the that wasn't correct. Okay, burger. Okay, there we go. Got it. Good. I'm not a robot. Dude, we got it.
I had a problem with.
We got him. Amazing content. You guys wanted me to move on from the fucking Zach Fox shit. Or whatever it's called.
Had a problem with.
Alright, just checking one thing. I'm just checking one thing, then we're moving on. Then we're moving on from Creepy Tommy.
Had a problem with. You saw the way it happened to Aiden. Aiden's finished. He's done. Finito.
You fucking wish! Sorry. Alright, there we go. So to get back to what I was talking about a little bit before, I guess there was, as the, like, crypto allegation was going on against the Yo Mama guy, somebody came out and dropped a doc? I guess? So maybe, let's check that out. This might have been right before he made this post. Hold on. Just want to make sure my email doesn't get pulled up on screen. You can find out about my extracurricular activities. So why is... There we go. Dead air? You scared me. I thought my goat, Zach Fox, was actually being canceled. Brody Fox, otherwise known as Zach James, is the current sole owner of the Yo Mama YouTube channel and X, formerly known as Twitter page. Back when this had started, Zach was co-owners with Alex, I am not going to say that guy's last name, who left in 2018 due to wanting to pursue hypnotherapy. That's a weird reason to... Are you, like, going to do that shit, like, all day? Yeah, dude, I gotta leave the job. I'm going to get hypnosis. Is he just like going into the mountains to be like hypnotized by some crackhead for a year? With Red Minus and Izzy Bate animating and Brock Baker voicing Brody Fox. Brock Baker. Why do I know that fucking name? Oh, he's apparently a big YouTuber. I'll start this latest controversy. However, by the way, I have never heard of somebody called Brock that I didn't think was like a rapist. I will start with this latest controversy. However, I will be jumping back and forth constantly between the past and current day. This past Friday, this document has been in the works for over a week. January 22nd. Zach posted about the Yo Mama Pumped Up Fun. Fuck. The Yo Mama Pumped Up Fun coin, which had statements such as, "Today a group reached out to me after creating yet another Yo Mama meme coin. It was made without my knowledge, already dumped, and I had nothing to do with it. The statement of this was a lie. Brody was approached on January 21st, 2026, responded on the 22nd of January 2026, and was directly involved in pumping the coin, as he was paid up front. And in his like, I guess, like apology or explanation post, he insinuates that. He doesn't overtly state it. He's like, he gives all these mitigating factors, and he's like, I fell for it, and I just let the guy behind the NFT profile, I trusted him to make a meme coin. Hey Brody, we've made a Yo Mama meme coin. We were wondering if you'd be interested in endorsing it and making some big cash for yourself. Hey Brody, hello Brody, we are looking forward to your response. So this is the message he got that was so convincing that he, against his best judgment, decided it was a good, despite being a morally great person that would definitely never do anything like this if he knew it was bad. These were the messages that supposedly duped the Yo Mama guy into becoming another like washed up YouTuber promoting a fucking pump and dump meme coin. Yeah. Hey dude, just saw your comment. Hey Brody, how's it going? People are hungry to hear from you. I'll need to wait, hold on. I'm getting review/thoughts on my draft from my colleagues in Web3. This is proof his wallet. You can see his coin admin and fees receiver. So this is apparently showing coordination in relation to the coin. Man with dying internet shtick tries to crypto scam and well, what better do you what else can I fucking do here, man? You guys are interested in a genre, and by proxy, I cover a genre that has you have about 5,000 of the biggest misses of your life before you fucking hit anything. What else was I gonna fucking get on here today and cover? It's like they always say, this is boring, I'm bored, I don't like... But they never tell you what they want. They never tell you what they want. Chatters are like a difficult date, okay? Something you said apparently pissed her off, and she's very obviously pissed off, but she's denying it. I won't tell you. I won't tell you shit, and you just have to, like, guess. That is what a chatter is like. I want you to fix your posture. Okay. You have never been on a date. Who needs a date? Anyways. Guamgo misses you and Loam too. What is going on with Guamgo, dude? Apparently there was a really big video in him on the works, and then it got scrapped. This proves, okay, he's clearly involved in this. Brody's wallet is, in that same wallet, it was discovered that he used some of the funds for Solana loot box gambling. They then randomly offered to send me the trading fees for using my brand. No promotion was asked for, they just sent it. Brody has since advertised this coin, spamming it under people associated with Pump.Fun coins posts and encouraging others investing in the coin to do the same. He was also invested back $5K for the community. Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm not going to pretend like I know shit about crypto, but correct me if I'm wrong. A rug pull, or like the common scam that these people do, is they'll hype up this like temporary meme coin, like it's a new fad, like Doge or whatever. They already have the large quantity of said coin in their wallet, and then when promoting this, when everybody goes to buy in, the value rises, right? And then the creator that had promoted this to everybody then sells as it's at that peak, causing the price to drop for everyone. So you lose money because you bought into it while the original person that was promoting, etc., gains money, right? That's what a rug pull is, right? Okay. So I don't know what I'm failing to. And is a rug pull just gonna be like inherent to the nature of a creator promoting a new currency in general? Like, they're not doing this obviously for philanthropy. Promoting it causes what? The artificial inflation or spike. Previous buyers who had bought in pre-promotion get to profit off of that. Like, is there? When is there? Especially since he's been on here so long, he has connections to people who probably did do like get caught for the meme coin shit. He's a YouTube bruh, so he knows about CoffeeZilla or whatever. Like, he knows about this. He knows what he's doing. In what world did he think that like what was the incentive for him to, like, what did he think was going to happen when people were giving him money to promote this coin or whatever? Did he think that they were just doing that out of like the generosity of their own hearts? No, the intention obviously was to cause an artificial spike and then sell them up, and then price drops for everybody. Brody since advertised this coin. Yeah, so the whole claim that he didn't know what he was doing, or he thought it was different, or he went against his best judgment, just doesn't really seem to be accurate. Because I see no world where somebody like Zach James / Brody Fox could see an offer like this and not understand the risks, and by analysis of those risks, you'd understand there's not really going to be a safe way for him to do this, so long as whoever is paying him to promote the coin already has said coin in their wallet. Brody claims that he would use the money earned for animation on the Yo Mama channel. However, a lot of his former animators have distanced themselves from the brand, and by extension, Brody himself. Kill the channel, dude. All proceeds will be going to my channel that none of you watch. Wow, we've got such a generous guy over here. It is much more fun to build up a channel again than try to desperately grasp at a dead one. It is so much, and I don't understand what is in it for this guy to continue to humiliate himself with the Yo Mama shit. If he can animate, if he could voice stuff, etc., why not go into other creative work? Why not make a new channel? Oh, sorry, sorry. Yeah, you're right. He's not the animator. A former employee named Izzy Bate, who worked at Anime Studios for over 12 years, which was first a meme organization. Anime, dude. I'm retarded. I'm on no sleep, guys. I'm on no sleep. That's bad. That's really bad. Hold on. I'm gonna go shoot myself. I'm actually turning on the air. Give me one second. Dude, what is wrong with me? Sorry. All right, sorry. Anyways, a former employee named Izzy Bay, who worked at Anime Studios for over 12 years, which was at first a meme animation YouTube channel, described the conditions as follows. I was very miserable at Anime Studios. It's not a great work environment. The workers are constantly misled. The producer uses personal grudges in professional meetings, and there's a lot of stuff I had to fight from happening, such as yo mama, Asian/race jokes. My ethics, values, and intent rarely lined up with the company's, which is run exclusively on one man's ego. Yeah, he just seems like an incredibly egotistical figure. He's unwilling to accept that every dog has his day, and his day came and passed. Hold on once. Sorry. Okay. That's what I thought. Which could have got me blacklisted from the art community. I had nothing to show for it. I resented myself for lying. What is an art community? Okay, maybe I get an art commentary community. What is the art community? Everything needs to have a community. There needs to be a community for everything. Community for everything, dude. Breathing community, eating community. Yeah, when is the pooping community gonna have their rise again, bro? Eventually, things did get a little better at Anime because the company was able to convince their YouTube MCN to big 250,000 grant for a cut of ad rev for a few years, and because my producer was expecting to get a huge payout from NFTs, specifically $500,000, he started carelessly spending, and I got life-changing raise. The money ran out. He scrambled to get investors back in, but it was futile. The artist didn't receive any royalties from the NFT assets as they were forced to work on, and told Izzy that the only way she would be paid was if she got a lawyer. Animeme's money ran out and kept the company afloat. What the fuck? The owner had to lay off his production staff so that he coast off what was left so he can trick some venture capital into thinking that his clearly failing company is worth investing in. I was given 2 weeks to produce a decent trans Harry Potter short. A what? Great creative things happening here. Really, I would never want to miss out on this. You know, Brody had to do the rug pull to preserve this greatness. We need 5,000 transgender Harry Potter shorts. He said he was instructed by his tax told payments that implied if I wanted to ensure payment, I needed to get a lawyer to take care of an unrelated contract. I've never signed a contract with the company and legally still own all of my work and assets. In fact, none of his animators have. He's bad at business. What? Wait. You were employing multiple people and nobody signed a contract? Is this guy retarded? Izzy ended up quitting that day. As of now, she's been working on a few indie projects and distanced herself from Brody. All statements from this portion were from the Pumpkin Dragon Patreon page posted on 1/13/23. Zach, in a post from May 2nd of 2025, stated, Yo Mama started as a scrappy cartoon idea back in 2011. Over 15 years later, a lot has changed. The people, the platforms, and yeah, me. Here's the story. I've held off on telling on why people came and went. It started with my roommate in 2011. He said, I'm working with this animator. I want to do more. You're into cartoons. Want to team up on an idea. Dude, he's talking about the Yo Mama channel like he's been inducted into the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yo Mama was revolutionary. It inspired a generation. It echoed around the world. That's when I pitched Yo Mama short. Bite-sized, budget-friendly cartoons that made sense for YouTube's algorithm and ad model back then. Fast forward, what happened? A lot. In 2017, my co-producer said he wanted to step away and focus on a different project. Dude, this channel was like dead as fuck in 27. It was over in 2017. It's 2026 and he's still trying to drag this thing out. Just kill it. Okay? Just do what Tommy C's wife. Just do to your channel what Tommy C's wife wishes she could do to her husband. Okay? It's like it's actually like sad to let this continue. Let's just let it down easy. Let it get over with easy. Right in the middle of the apocalypse, revenue dropped 80%. I cut my own pay in half, doubled an animator's pay. Yo Mama still pushed forward in 2022. One of my animators, insanely talented, decided they wanted to move on. Communication had become a challenge. Missed deadlines were affecting the team. We had conversations. Sorry, I'm like 10 minutes behind, but I need to affirm. Aiden has never been on a date. I checked. Is there like a registry for if I've been on a date or not? Then in 2023, I made the hard call to turn off the YouTube content pipeline. Not the first time, might actually be the third, but the first time in years. The team was told with a 2-week heads up. I gave some folks extra time if they needed it. One animator originally agreed to complete a short from start to finish, but I felt the 2 weeks was too tight for that cartoon, so I shifted them onto wrapping a smaller task. Basically, a day's work, full 2-week pay. They chose to walk instead out of frustration. And honestly, I get it. What Stung was learning from their own Discord that they'd purposely dragged out work to get paid more. Another animator had guessed that at the time. I just didn't know how deep it went until later. That said, outside of those two, I still keep healthy working relationships with a bunch of animators, voice actors, and creatives. Even my former co-producer and I still chat from time to time. I've stayed quiet about their tweets, the posts, the quick deletes. People vent, and yeah, I've got my own flaws to work on, but a few animators I still work with encourage me to finally say something, so there it is. Yeah, dude, I'm sure it was because he's like, he needs to externalize it, but do it because, like, I know a guy like this lives rent-free in his head to have these people talking about him like this. He is the type that would crash out over it. You made this post because you fucking wanted to. Even if, like, some shitter suggested it to you, you were gonna do it anyway. Thank you for the $2, Soul. I just hit a badger. You did? Are you serious? Okay. I still work with, encourage me to finally say something, so there it is, and ideally it's the last time. Still got love for the people I've worked with, even the ones where things end perfectly. We all go through. Dude, I'm sorry, that just messed me up. Deep breaths. I'm kidding. I'm not that concerned. I'm a bit of a bitch when it comes to concern for animals. Brody leaked the personal information of one of his animators, which he leaves out of this post. The animator is Red Minus, someone who's animated since the beginning of the Yo Mama saga. Red Minus in a leaked voice memo by Brody, which didn't include the earlier context, brought on by Red, leaving a comment on a video by Chibi Reviews covering Brody's harassment towards Riragaki. Stated, right, I just happened to have a conversation with this person. I just happened to go in that direction. And it begs the question, how many people out there, how many conversations that I want with people could there be where Zach's been running mouth all over town, just telling whoever the fuck he pleases, right? More than zero, and that's for sure. I mean, I know you told... Okay, I'm so lost. And there's plenty more coming your way if you don't keep my name out of your mouth. Brody did not include the other audio memo, which was 4 minutes and 37 seconds in length. He had deemed his voice memo to be threatening, and that Red was being aggressive when Red had stated publicly that there were vague deadlines for the work, which Brody would miss, and that he was threatened with a court order to finish the... Yeah, I remember, dude. I remember my mom hit something one night, and it was like, dude, I felt like we needed to go to the police because we were murdered. It wasn't a person; it was some small animal. That was like, bro. And then the one good thing I've ever done, I told the story. Okay, I told the story. I saved a dog at the expense of my beautiful clothes, which were covered in dog blood. To finish the assets he made, which have not been. Well, no, there wasn't enough of a pause. Were vague deadlines for the work, which Brody would miss, and that he was threatened with a court order to finish the assets he made, which have not been used. All the content on the Yo Mama channel is just uploaded compilations of old animations, which makes Brody's earlier claim on using the crypto animation funds for new Yo Mama content a complete lie, especially with Chazington. Dude, I knew someone named Chaz. It's like, why, like if you're gonna have like a white son, like they're just like certain names you need to avoid giving so that they don't seem like a fraternity rapist. And that's like 5 of them. Chaz, Brock, what's it? Dude, every Logan I've ever known has been a complete menace. Not in like a rapist way, but like just like no fucking chill. And definitely some of them rape. Chazington, dude. Chazington. Post this conversation here with Zach. What's up with Joe Mama / Yo Mama Chapter 2, though? I genuinely want to know if that's not the way I'd hope. My vision for that outgrew the budget, and overall animation industry investment decline unless you're willing to sell the IP or have the audience big enough to keep the IP. YouTube's algorithm hurt the negotiation setting me while selling the IP to get the budget, which never made sense to me. That said, I've wanted to better explore it as an indie graphic novel. He still wants to creatively expand this project. It's one thing to accept the joke is dead, the project is dead, and just spam your videos for whatever drooling fuck will watch, so you'll get at least some ad revenue off of it, which he probably does, since he's re-uploading shit daily, and it's getting at least 2,000 views. That adds up. That gives you a nice extra couple hundred, maybe 1,000 in the bank every month. But to actually want to go and creatively expand this shows what like complete delusion this guy is under, because it's fucking dead. I'm gonna go to bed. Can you make sure you're streaming in about 7-8 hours? I'm gonna be in bed in like 5 hours. At the beginning of January 2022, nearly 2 years ago, I permanently ended my involvement with the Yo Mama channel. I'd been there since the beginning and had single-handedly created all of the characters, style, and much of the format. The only other main animator also left at the beginning of this year. I'll probably talk more about that another time. Then in May of 2025, he later clarified on this due to Brody airing out his grievances in public, due to Red Minus leaving a comment on Chibi Review's video. I believe the comparison of Red's now deleted tweets and Brody's still up tweets. Let's talk about the weird-ass comment left on a weirdo's video. Jesse is super talented. He has an amazing eye for detail and needs time to focus. That doesn't excuse bullshit. First, Jesse misled and misdirected the entire team in his deliveries. He said his old deadlines, didn't meet them, and ghosted the entire team. We spent 2 to 3 weeks each adjusting for this. Second, Jesse decided to walk instead of dealing with the issue. I'd spent 18 months trying to address communication issues. He simply didn't respect it and decided to walk when... He simply didn't respect it and decided to walk when presented the decision. Third, Jesse asked for a final payment, got paid, and then tried to avoid delivering all the assets. It took me 2 years just to gain the assets he was paid for. I had to hire an attorney and threaten a legal filing to gain access to files he randomly restricted or wouldn't simply provide. Fourth, Jesse doesn't speak for everyone. He does this weird thing of making it sound like he speaks for an entire team. But bros only... Well, there's now other people coming out about this. And you're still like, oh, well, it's just those 2 people now. Well, just those 3 people. It's just those 4 people. Nobody else feels this way. Living in like an actual bubble. Jesse never publicly said why he's pissed at me and keeps dancing around it. I know why. I've reflected on it, know how I could do better, but I won't allow his weird personal shit to be held over me as he avoids mentioning it. Overall, this is a weird bullshit situation because a guy got paid what he asked for and he's still not happy. He broke multiple aspects of our agreement that he laid out. I'm only speaking about this because he forced me into this position. The number 2 that I decided to walk instead of dealing with the issue should be very telling. You're allowed to quit a job you aren't comfortable at. For example, if the management is making increasingly exploitive demands or insane demands, quitting absolutely was dealing with the issue. At some point, I had to share personal info about my family situation because it was something that affected my availability. I asked him to keep it confidential, and he agreed. He later told all of our coworkers, as well as, I'm not kidding, Daft Peanut. That's a name I haven't heard in very fucking... That's an ACC guy, or former ACC guy. I left 8... Okay, there's nothing to... If I was to just, like, not be looking at this, I'd go to my inbox. This was the only thing I think posted in the last 5 days. This is my content suggestion.
Today I'm at the hotel and I'm going to be playing one of my pianos. So the piano I'm going to be playing at the hotel here is from 1889 and it's a floor off. So
okay, it's just some autistic guy doing what he loves. What do you want me to say about this? What do you want me to say about this? Red has no reason to lie either, since legally Brody may not even own some of the works he's profiting off of. His former employee Izzy stated, I've never signed a contract for the company and legally still own all my work and assets. In fact, none of his animators have. He's bad at business. Not only that, but his company, Animeme, uses Registered Agents Inc. as of 2022, a service that had several of their companies in Wyoming. Due to falsifying government documents, this same service owns Epic, who is catered to right-wing extremists and hosted... Okay. You'd have to elaborate on that. And then furthermore, when we're going into all these degrees of corporate separation, it's like, okay, you might be reaching at this point. I'm not sure. I'd have to look more into that. But, like, yeah, anybody, like, if you want to play, like linking companies to companies, I hate to be that guy, but you could link anyone to some unethical business practice. Hi, Jimmy. According to a Wired analysis of publicly available incorporation documents, around the country, at least 1,463 companies incorporated Registered Agents Inc. list a woman named Riley Park as an organizer or agent, according to a Wired analysis of publicly available incorporation documents. But Riley Park isn't a real person, the former employees say. She's one of multiple fake personas used by Registered Agents Inc. Former employees identified at least 10 fake personas used by the company, including David Roberts, Drake Forrester, and Morgan Noble, using business records made public by Open Corporates, a website that shares and standardizes information sourced from business registries around the world. Wired found 36,257 business listing companies officers who share names that former employees say are fake. At least 3,735 of these businesses and corporation paperwork references Registered Agents Inc., either explicitly in the paperwork or by using... There's nothing interesting to cover. Hold on. Dude, I'm actually dying. I'll come back. How about this? I'll come back. You suggest what's interesting to cover. And if we have nothing else and this continues to be boring, then I'll fuck off. But this is all I got to work with right now. Cover something interesting. You know what? I've made the executive decision. No pun intended. Wait. Hold on. It's almost over. I'm doing some scrolling. It looks like this gets better. Hold the phone, people. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I think this gets better. We'll get through this within 15 minutes. Queeman and Augie are on J-Stock right now? Oh, no, from the night prior. How long was that? Which got me blacklisted from the art community, nothing to show for it. Wait, alright, we already read that. Animemes NFT. Okay, Animemes NFTs. Wait, hold on. Where do you... Okay. I also have reason to believe he owns, or at least used to own, Animeme Token LLC, all of which names trace back to being part of LegalZoom and attributed to several companies, with the address being seemingly a shopping mall. The main manager also hosts several wildly different companies and is based in California. The time it was established was November 2021. The crypto post on Animeme Labs started in April 2022, then the official post stopped on July 2024. The last statement of information was July 2023. However, the last official product they produced was August 10, 2023. If we were to take that into account and compare that to Animeme LLC, their last statement of information was due April of 2024. If Brody's projects are at an utter loss, then he's actively lying about further productions for Yo Mama content, which gets at most 50k views nowadays. Saying it gets at most 50k views is pushing it when I don't think he's done 50k. Since the OJ verdict or some shit. Dude, just cover the recent Augie drama. Holy... Nobody linked me. I didn't know... Okay, it's not your job. It's not your job. It's my job. The problem is, I didn't even get, like, a preview of it, so there was nothing to indicate interest that would then go and justify me looking further into it. All I need to watch is the J-Stock Augie call-in. The problem you run into here is that on principle, all of the snarkers are correct. What Brandon Buckingham did was a dox. It does violate people's pre-held standards, etc., etc. And I used to think using the public will think this, the public will think that argument was gay. But apparently everyone's okay with us using the public's perception as a point in something. The reality is the subject of the docs has seemingly been presented to the internet as engaging in such egregious behavior where you will never get your average person to give a fuck that this person's LinkedIn was posted. The truth of the matter is, the average person doesn't know what docs is. They think that we're learning that tons of people still believe that because it was public, it's not a docs, right? Because it was already public. That's how a lot of people think. Because there's tons of misunderstandings surrounding what qualifies and what doesn't qualify as doxing. But ultimately, the people are continuously litigating the doxing point to insinuate some form of coordination. There was like coordinated doxing. I don't think anyone legitimately believes that. I have a feeling it's like to get back at like that side for when they were like falsely kind of asserting and insinuating, like Willie asserting and insinuating that Queeman was doxed. Queeman had a community of doxers, etc., and it was coordinated. There was coordination. I feel like it's just being flipped back on them. But in terms of somebody who has no personal stakes and no skin in the game, you're never gonna get the average person to give a fuck that this person got doxed. It's never gonna happen. And fix it, like, because what she did is so monumental, like her being doxxed is such a minor detail in the story that it wouldn't involve me. No, that's not true. It can be used against Brandon. It can be, if you're talking specifically in a context of somebody trying to criticize Brandon, go for it, right? Go for it. Yeah, I'm talking about the Augie shit right now. Tell an average person that some asshole publicized the personal information of a girl on the internet so people can harass her. I'm pretty sure they would get it. if they learned any more context beside that phrasing, no, they wouldn't. Like, you run to somebody and say, some girl got her LinkedIn posted after running to a notorious doxing site to spread life-ruining, what is being presented and interpreted as life-ruining lies about somebody because they were like salty over a breakup or whatever. They posted her LinkedIn profile in response. People will literally laugh and say the bitch deserved it. That's not me defending it. What happened was doxing. It is wrong by every standard of this community. Stand to stand for, like, 150%. 150%. It was clearly, he was disseminating it in a non-closed, like, avenue, and he's putting it out onto X. Like, and then any sympathy that I would have for Brandon, who once again I don't like and wouldn't just afford sympathy to for the hell of it, any sympathy I could possibly have for him upon the knowledge of this girl's alleged attempts to reach out to family members of his, etc., goes away when you realize this wasn't an impulsive act. It was planned, he doubled down on it, and it's still up. Right? If he had, when the Tom video came out and watched it, and then knowing she was contacting his family, in like a moment of rage, actually gone and done that, I would probably, given the extenuating circumstances, you'd criticize him over it, but like, I could see how a otherwise fine person could be driven to doing something like that temporarily. The question is it a pattern, etc., to determine my overall judgment of that person. That went away when he didn't take it down. So that's from Belinda, whiny voice. People break up, talk shit behind each other's back, poison the, they weren't poison, there was no poisoning their friends. This person ran to kiwi farms, a site known for doxing and harassment, lied that they didn't know, they were probably lying they didn't know what kiwi farms was in advance because they seemingly knew to reach out to Null and shit, and just like they said they didn't know who Tom was before they started dating, and then it got revealed by Tom. That was just a lie. They did know who Tom was, and that he had a channel prior to this, right? But this person disseminated on a site that is notorious for this, in crazy allegations relating to insinuation, recontextualization of prior details to make it look like what she obviously interpreted as a good relationship. She supposedly now trying to claim she interpreted the time as being bad. She would present a text to her sister where she's clearly complaining about her own mental health as if it were a complaint about Tom to show that she's always felt this way. She outright threatens to, she outright tries to blackmail him when he leaves her on that phone call, right? And the nature of the allegation she allowed people to believe, taken to their most extreme extent, could result in what was alleged would be a crime, right? Yo, thank you for the 2, Belinda. So I guess Augie went in from an emotional perspective, from an emotional eye for an eye perspective. When you sit there, you knowing what she's done to Tom, especially if you're somebody that, has a personal friendship with Tom, you can sit there and say, yeah, she fucking deserved it. No sympathy for her. This was fine. She signed up for this, etc., etc. From a logical perspective, you understand that behavior like this, incentivizing it, is setting a standard that will lead to overall harm. Because even if we were to entertain the notion that she did deserve it, by virtue of doxing her, you bring everybody from her life into it and into the eyes and scope of Kiwi Farms, right? But apparently Augie tried to argue that this was I don't know what his argument was on J-Stock's stream. Apparently Augie was trying to say he didn't give a, I don't know what the fuck he was. He said something about the docs, and got some shit, I guess,
I,
from
before because
I know.
Queequeg and J-Stalk. What stream is this?
apparently
that make
crying when
sense?
she was not interested.
That's the Templar stream. We're looking at the one from 3 days ago. It's not this one.
Literally 90% of what he says about you is a mirror of what he has been doing to you.
It's just him and Queeman playing fucking Marvel. Where is this fucking? How long ago was this?
Actually, the first.
No, this would have been. Wait, this would have been. I'm retarded, dude. I literally sent the. Oh, I'm stupid. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing something, even though I didn't see it. My apologies.
I should take more seriously, right?
Dude, I think you displayed a perfect level of loyalty when you were like, hey, I've seen this stuff that's out on Tom. I need okay, well, like, trying to figure that out, right? I do get that with the Willie Mac stuff. Yeah, there's like, you basically have to go through, I think, a longer process. It's fine. Here, I need to read this stuff because you just said this sort of was her fishing for information. Yes, I'm really enjoying... So, I'll read the post first. It really sounds like you're just enjoying the internet fame and trying to share everything you know, including doxing people completely unaffiliated with the situation and who you haven't claimed did anything wrong. Kind of fucked up to involve someone like her. Yes, I'm really enjoying my 5 seconds of internet clout by posting...
this was for me. I don't know. Does Queeman... Wait, why is the pick music... Okay, what the fuck? Okay, there we go. Does Queeman dispute this? Because people were acting... Right, I'm gonna be fair to any side. If they're, I'm not so fucking snark brained that I need to own you on everything, even if you're correct. It is very obvious that this girl was attempting to participate in the doxing of somebody believed to be Nick's partner or whatever, right? Or at the very least, trying to help someone do that. People were presenting a single DM where she was messaging. They're like, "This is Nick's proof that she was trying to dox his like girlfriend or whatever." Based on what the Kiwi Farms, based on what you've been in the Kiwi Farms, like, that's not true. It's what she said. When there's somebody clearly showing on a known doxing site, somebody showing clear intent to go dig up stuff on Nick's girlfriend. You responding saying, I think they met in elementary school. I'll go ask around and see what indicates you know that this person is trying to dig shit up on the doxing site to dox, and you're now going and looking for information to get back to them with, right? To get back to them with what purpose? To provide that identifying info, leading to the original user doing what people do on there and talking about it and publishing it in the thread.
About my insane abusive ex on Kiwi fucking Farms completely anonymously. All these freaks and the ones covering for him deserve to get nuked. So this is just saying, posting the docs. Oh,
I think in fairness, Queeman said, as long as he admitted he was, okay, but he does agree with the assertion now, upon seeing the Kiwi Farm stuff, that, yeah, this girl was obviously attempting to participate, seems like this girl was attempting to participate in doxing, Nick's partner.
Oh man, can somebody find me this post? What is this guy saying was doxing? I think the Anon BidCon girl that Sacramento was talking to would actually know who Nick Diorio's girlfriend is. But I agree, it would be a good way to push Diorio to a...
Like, you can despise Diorio, but what's going to be the tell is if your, like, mind has become rot with snark, okay? What's really gonna... Dude, I'm sounding like the people I used to shit on a few months ago. But, like, what's really going to be the tell is this is obviously a very easy conclusion. You can grant that from his perspective, seeing these messages would absolutely lead him to the conclusion that she was attempting to, or at least participating in someone else's attempt to dox the person alleged to be his girlfriend.
Breaking point with Tom. Gay, very gay. I wish Anon VidCon girl would come here to spill everything she has too. Yeah, I don't know who it is. She does. She told me the girl was apparently a long-term girlfriend he's known since elementary school. I asked her who she is just now. Yeah, this isn't necessarily doxing. I think this is not fishing.
This isn't this isn't dox. I'm not of the claim that she doxed in this instance. The claim is that I believe she was trying to participate in an attempt to dox. And had she actually successfully acquired more information, like she did in other instances, she'd provide it to whoever's looking into this person in the thread, who would then go and post it, right? And from a perspective of malice, somebody who, for example, somebody who attempts to murder someone and someone who actually successfully does it, both are equally as shit of people. It's just one was successful, right? Right here, you have just because it wasn't successful doesn't really change the broader point of the assumption of her level of malice and Nick's personal response to that.
It quite the same way. I thought they're basically saying, I want somebody to post this identity here. We need to find this person no matter what. She's saying, I'm going to send a DM and see if I can find out and ask that person. That's a little different, no? People in the thread were goading her into doxing Nick's girlfriend, and she was going along with it. I haven't seen her soliciting this yet. I don't know if I would call it soliciting it yet. I think she says, so yeah, I don't know who it is. She does. So she's saying that she would know who the girl.
I think she said, why? Just literally, it is that easy to say. It is that easy to say based on her records of posting the thread, how she engages with the thread, what she leaks, how other people in the thread engage, and what this poster is clearly looking into, and the overall context is occurring over Kiwi Farms, and that she's going to ask who this person is. She is replying to somebody. Replying to somebody who evidently wants to dox. She's saying she's going to ask in response to them. Ask for what? Ask for what? And if she was just going to keep that info to herself, why would she be telling this user that she was going off to ask? Well, clearly it's to give him what he wants. Cheese boob.
Girlfriend is? Are you saying that's saying you should dox her?
$2 from Belinda. I'll never forgive Augie for the Edwin betrayal. True. I get that. Like, this is such an easy thing to grant. I don't understand why you get caught up on this. She didn't dox Dioria's girlfriend. I don't know if Dioria ever claimed that she did, but she absolutely was willing to entertain the idea and be a participant in it, and it's evident by these posts and the broader context.
A long-term girlfriend. I asked her who she is just now. Wait, does that not imply she knows who it is and she asked just now? This isn't the soliciting, right?
So the soliciting, she's literally saying, okay, if somebody said she was trying to solicit docs, J-Stock is not this retarded. If somebody is saying she's trying to solicit docs, right, we can obviously infer that the message that they're referring to is her letting the guy on the doxing forum who is evidently trying to dox someone, her letting him know that she's going to ask who the girl he's looking for is, right? Who she is, her identity, right? So she's asking someone to obtain this person's identity on behalf of a Kiwi Farms user. That would be what the term solicitation. I don't think it exactly meets the criterion, but if people are using that word, that's what they're referring to. She's literally asking around for this person to be personally identified.
I do think there's some karma in this person. Clearly, I think with Sacramento, we have someone who clearly just wanted to assassinate Colin's reputation. That was her explicit goal. She was threatened. It's fair game to go on Kiwi Farms and dox people. I think this also got some sinister implications as well for anybody who might have another allegation.
Like, the thing is, on an emotional standpoint, I agree with Augie, and I used to say this shit. I'm like, I feel like if you dox, it is only fair, so that the playing field is even, that you get doxed or whatever. And it's like, it's an emotional consideration, but when you logically break it down, you understand that on principle, as a rule, we should never tolerate it, right? As on principle. Now, if there are cases where the rule is violated, we can admit that they are bad, but sometimes there's such extenuating circumstances where you may not view the person doing the doxing as badly as your run-of-the-mill like what you would expect when there's like circumstances like this. That doesn't on principle make it right.
Against Tom, that you gotta admit the optics are not good. Okay?
Because the thing is, well, as I said before, even if the person you're doing this to deserves it, a lot of times people reside with their family members. Doxing leads to things like swatting. Swatting puts everybody in the household, hell, in the neighborhood at risk. Somebody's neighbor was, I'm pretty sure, shot and killed by a SWAT team over a swatting call. And furthermore, doxing their PI links them to all their family members.
Okay, the optics are not good of, yeah, this person said this, they came out with an allegation. And while I think she's been categorically disproven, to just like instantly the day Tom drops his response, post her, essentially her full dox. That's wild, dude. That's wild. I'm not saying she didn't.
I don't think that was coordinated. I think that I think it was on Brandon's end. It was like, that's the time it would hit. Now that the public realizes what a like horrible person she is or whatever, this is the moment he can go and get his like revenge, right? He's tested the waters. He's seen that the public perception is going in Tom's favor in response to the video, so everyone can universally agree that she sucks. Now he's safe to go in and do this really bad thing. I don't think it's like yeah, dude, right when I'm done with my video, you drop your docs. You have to ask yourself, when you're making these like inferences about coordination or dishonesty, etc., an important question to ask is, and people don't always act in their self-interest. People do things impulsively, thinking it will be in their best interest, and it's not. So just because doing something was not in someone's okay, think about it like this. Tom has a video with the most amount of receipts I've ever seen in response to an allegation. It's an easy slam dunk. He gets to brag about his penis, etc. What benefit is there to him to have her doxxed? At that point, what benefit is there to him? Not much. Does that mean because there's no logical benefit, he couldn't have done so emotionally? Sure, but if there was coordination going on here, Tom's video, how and when he was going to drop, etc., obviously there was some thought about that. So that kind of room for impulsive anger in the course of coordination, I just don't see that occurring.
Deserve to be like mocked out of the fucking room for everything she's posted. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm at doxing yet. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm talking with Augie. I'm not reading all of his stuff back.
Is anyone saying she doxed? Or was Nick saying that?
She's been trying to ruin his life. I don't know if it's justified, but I just don't care. Yeah, well, unfortunately for us, we had to deal with, certain person using that exact logic to justify doxing, people I know, people I'm friends with. Right? Oh, well, they're trying to ruin my life, so I don't...
Destiny raped me. Let me cry about it for the next 10 years of my life before I passed in my clogged arteries.
I don't care if they're... I don't care. I'm just doxing them now.
That made
It's like...
Did. I used to, when I'd have, like, some of the more, like, snark left... Remember when I would, like, raid into Destiny, and I literally get, like, essays written to me on Discord, like, how could you do this? He's like a sex criminal freak, and it's like, okay, we agree. We absolutely agree. I just thought it would be very funny and would make people mad, and it's like, it's selective irony, bruh, in this community. Okay, people flip from serious morals to crying and cat emojis at the flip of a switch.
Trying to figure that out, right?
You don't know you don't know who is actually serious about anything and who isn't anymore these days.
You get that with the Willie Mac stuff? Yeah, there's like, you basically have to go through, I think, a longer process. It's fine. Here, I need to read this stuff because you just said this sort of was her fishing for information. Yes, I'm really enjoying... So I'll read the post first. It really sounds like you're just enjoying the internet fame and trying to share everything you know, including doxing people.
From my perspective, when I saw Brandon do it, I'm not going to lie. This might be horrible for me to admit. I was laughing. I thought...
Yeah, I'm against the death penalty on principle. But when I see, if I think some guy, like, killed a child or whatever, and I hear that he goes to the electric chair, I'm like... Obviously, I laugh. I'm like, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy or some shit. They don't use the electric chair anymore. Besides the point. But still, that doesn't change the principle. I still understand that this isn't okay, right? I still understand that murdering this person in response isn't okay.
It was like just a crazy moment of just, like.
So nobody should be blamed for not caring that she got doxxed, laughing that she got doxxed, etc. If you're gonna win a losing battle, if you're gonna try to like tell people they should feel upset, they should be like upset over this, because they're not going to be. This happened to a really bad person, and therefore nobody's gonna care. But you should at least get them to admit that on principle this is wrong.
Whoa, like for going off or whatever, right? And I was jumping up and clapping. So, and I can't pretend like that wasn't my reaction. To pretend like I have some sort of moral.
Some states use it. I think it's like an official, like secondary. Like you can. Some states let you pick how you die, and it's like maybe still official. But I think the only methods of execution that are actually utilized in practice in the U.S. now is lethal injection. I think they brought back the gas chamber. Lethal injection, gas chamber firing squad, and I think there's a state that still allows hanging. They haven't done it though in practice.
Problem with it would be actually lying about how I really feel.
Yeah, it's not like that would be shocked. I wouldn't have been shocked by that for Brandon, right? He did post like that, like sneaky.
I was shocked. I didn't expect him to go that hard, but I was just like, whoa, like this is kind of epic. Like, fuck these stupid bitches trying to ruin people's lives. They want to throw all this fucking shit against fucking Tom and then cry when like the same level of heat gets thrown back their way. Fuck them. That's how I was actually thinking in the moment.
Again, yeah, I understand how you could feel that way in the moment because it's your friend who got totally wranged. I understand that emotional response, but then when you break it down, it's like personal details, and I think he was able to reveal personal details that allowed him to absolve himself, and that, you know, I feel like he totally won here until he decided to do something that I think exposes her identity.
Dude, all of my fallen from grace chatters coping in chat. It's okay when we do it. It isn't okay. It isn't okay, but I totally understand the reaction of somebody like Augie. You're never going to get anyone to give a fuck about
it. It wasn't exposed before, and,
well, it
probably,
was Brandon that did
if
it.
I don't know wrong, I believe, no, you could convince me of that if people come out and disavow Brandon. You think there's any chance that Tom's coming out and going, actually, Brandon, I can't hang out with you anymore because you doxed this person?
I'm sure he wasn't offended by it, but I don't know if like Tom's plan was to be like, all right, Brandon, you do the doxing, I'll do like the legitimate response. Like maybe that, I don't know. I get how it looks, but like I just don't know if that's exactly what happened.
Well, I mean, it would be pretty hard to know unless you were in the group chat. Like it would be pretty hard to know if that was the exact thing, but it's how it looks. And when there's no disavowal, it is him kind of saying, yeah, like that's good. You know, I like that.
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
well, if I was Tom, dude, I'll tell you.
Is it?
I'll tell you right now, if I was Tom, I would be clapping. I'd be like, yes, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, how could you not if you're in that situation, right? Some bitch is trying to ruin your career with like heinous fucking lies and shit like that, right? I get it sounds like destiny.
Okay, I gotta ask chatters a question. Who is Mrs. Soap and Clay? Not like who, like, no, I'm not asking you to dox. I'm saying, every time I hear about somebody writing a stupid fucking chat, I feel like all I hear now is this person's name.
But Destiny's a fucking loser. That's the difference. So Destiny sucks and Tom is cool. That's the difference, right?
Totally cringe in Tom's face. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Sometimes it's okay and sometimes it isn't okay, right? Like, come on.
Dude, if the excuse is just Destiny sucks and we're cool, then you guys are just the same sort of fags as Destiny. Let's be real.
I guess.
Yo, Twitch. Okay, well the Twitch.
Augie should just respond to Queeman. It ain't that serious. I'm crying, and then Queeman looks like he's crashing out.
Sorry. I thought Augie was here. I assumed you wouldn't be on Twitch with Augie. I assume. Sorry.
Nice. Jesus Christ, bro.
There's no chat on your screen either. There's no chat on your screen either. Like, I've got every reason to leave it on Twitch right now.
The no chat is for Twitch, brother. What are you talking about?
Whoops. Oh, I don't do that shit, so.
Okay. It's fine. Go off. It's fine. Yeah,
so I just see them listen to this shit. It's just like, it's gay as fuck hearing this guy be like, oh, no, actually, it's fine when we do doxing because Brandon Buckingham's epic.
Hey, I didn't do it.
Why is he epic? Why is he epic? Because what? Because he faked the hospital visit?
Because these bitches suck. That's why.
True.
Yeah, but okay. So if someone sucks, you just dox them. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Unironically, yes. Problem? Quim's like, so you think just because you dislike somebody, you could just go and drop their fucking yeah? Hello, base department? Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean I'm joking there, but like I don't know, like in this situation, I think situations matter, like context matters to some extent, right? When Destiny's doxing people, he's doxing people that are accusing him, rightfully so, of fucking holding like child porn or whatever of like people that he's like had conversations with when they were like 17 and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
but
he's
hold
like doing
on.
revenge porn and
The
stuff like that.
standard
Right?
the standard
You have
isn't
to
whether you're
understand.
right or not.
It can't be that, because there will be situations like the Destiny one where not all the proof was even public, and you can't even know like categorically who's right and who's wrong.
exactly.
Right. So if he can convince his audience that he's right, then he's just greenlit he can greenlight to all of them like doxing and just total.
Well, look, I'm not
life
saying it's
elimination of a bunch of
okay. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just explaining why when I looked at it, I was like, this is epic. Like, this is just cool.
Well, you're saying you
Yeah, I
can't pretend you don't have any.
If you run to Kiwi Farms and try to dox people, we're gonna dox your family. I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. But that would go hard if I wasn't. But I am kidding.
You have a moral problem with it, but it sounds like you're saying an emotional reason and then just working backwards and saying, actually, my emotional reason is my moral reason.
Well, I just think that it's different. Like in certain.
Wait, this is why Augie's like Augie develops takes based on emotion way too much. It's why he's I don't know what his political orientation is now. It's why he's probably a conservative or whatever. But like
situations, because when
Brandon
Destiny
Buckingham's my
doxes.
friend. And
No, it's not about being friends. It's about...
I don't agree with the assertion here though that's made by J-Stock that silence is inherently avowing this, right?
Whether he's right or not, right? If Tom legitimately raped somebody and they're just doxing the fucking person accusing him of that shit, right? And it looks pretty bad and there's no reason to do that, then it's bad, right? But if this is some stupid crazy bitch just saying crazy lies about him and stuff like that, right? Why am I supposed to feel upset? I don't get it.
So if someone lies about you, you can dox them. So what's the standard? What's standard? If someone lies about you, you can dox them.
You don't have to feel this shouldn't even be argued. No, if anyone's making the argument that you should be upset over this, they're fucking retarded. But we can admit that on principle, allowing something like this puts innocent people at risk. It would be at an end result, if we applied this to everyone, right? It would lead to people making mistakes that are irrevocable, like tying the wrong person to a persona of somebody that's doing really fuck shit, etc. People get doxes wrong. Fail dox happens all the time. So can you imagine spreading the dox of some innocent fucking woman claiming that she's the false accuser? Like, it is so reckless with no inherent benefit that the ends just don't justify the means here at all.
I don't think you should dox people, but I just think there's a different like emotional response when it comes.
Okay, well, it sounds like
but there's a rule.
Yeah, well, that's totally fair. You can just grant that. That's just going to be true.
There's a rule. We just want the rule.
Yeah, you just want the rule. Okay.
Right? Because
what's the rule?
what you
When
should
is that
do,
okay?
listen, I might feel emotional and want to punch some bitch in the face when she like talks shit to me at a bar, okay? But emotionally, I want to do that. Principally, punching women.
But if some other guy came up and punched her in the face, I don't think punching women is good. I'd be like, that guy should be arrested. Would I not be laughing my ass off, though, in the corner? Who knows, man? Who knows?
The face is wrong.
Does that mean I believe she should have been punched? No. But obviously, because of the nature of the person this is happening to, nobody's gonna care. Like, once again, another extreme analogy, right? What is it? Like, I think murder is wrong. I'm against the death penalty. I wouldn't cry tears or be, what a horrible guy, to the dude that fucking killed Dahmer in prison or some shit, right?
So,
Despite,
like,
on principle, by the rule, still thinking it's wrong. The victim of the act and their own acts is obviously going to play a role in the emotional response to their victimization.
Hold myself back, right? I have to hold back that emotion and state what hold to my actual principle. Just don't do violence on people because they're talking shit about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. Who cares about the principles? It's just funny. It's funny.
Yeah, this is a fine take from somebody that's on the sidelines. But if Augie's friends with Brandon, then it might be a bit of sweet. Like, he should just be able to sit here and admit, yeah, he went too far. This is obviously not something we should encourage, but I still find this incredibly ironic and funny. because she did go to Kiwi Farms, hoping that now her fucking shit's being posted like it's completely flipped on her, right? Would anyone blame someone for saying that? Because that's essentially my take.
Fine.
It's not. It's funny when it's like bullshit. It's.
Aren't you a Christian? Aren't you a Christian, Augie?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you mean you don't care about the principles?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I think it's fine. Like when the bitches are fucking lying about you.
Yeah, that sounds
It's a
very Christian.
retarded thing to try to argue. Okay, but where did Augie go after him? He didn't.
Well, isn't Brandon Buckingham meant to be one of these fucking Christian losers too? Isn't Tom Pally around with all these like fucking Brandon Herrera, Griff, the fucking cocksuckers?
By the way,
I don't know anything about that.
I am almost positive in my mind that Turkey Tom and Tectone are.
Also, again, Aiden, why are you moralizing about a woman who lies about sex? Are you still doing this shit, bro? Are you still doing this shit? I am. With the exception of the old Cabal types, on this drama, I'm going to be one of the most, like, modern, or one of the most pro-Tom types in this side of the community. Like, I'm being more than, like, I've made it more than clear that I think what this girl did to Tom is fucking egregious. I think Tom is the victim here. I think he disproved the allegations. I don't think there's any proof that he coordinated to dox her, and I don't think, with the information we have available, he should be held responsible for Brandon doing so. I think Brandon doing so is wrong because, on principle, we should not allow doxing simultaneously because of the behaviors of the person getting doxed. There is an irony that makes it incredibly funny.
Are hanging out. That's got to be a thing. I feel like that's got to be a thing.
There's
No,
no
I don't
way.
think
like the same
What do you mean?
Then why am how am I going after Augie? I just disagree with him.
What do you mean by that?
It's like the same
No, you're
adjacents.
schizophrenous.
Augie's being there's no criticism for somebody being unempathetic here. There's no expectation of empathy for this girl. If you want to argue on the emotion, just on the emotions he's feeling, this is completely consistent. Like the problem is the fact that he's not willing to concede that it's wrong on principle.
No, you're schizophrenic.
No, it's like the same adjacents, right? It's Brandon Herrera. It's all.
But yeah, when all of this shit that she did drop, to expect anybody to be empathetic to her, with it being like shown that she was trying to work with potentially work with or provide information to Kiwi Farms to dox other people, etc. Nobody has to be empathetic. You could think it's wrong and not have any empathy for this person. I don't. I don't feel bad for her. I did laugh. I do think it's hilarious. But I also think it's wrong, and I think Brandon is in the wrong, and I think Brandon fucked up, and he should be scrutinized for it.
All the gun people.
Yeah, but Tectone's not actually like friends with those guys. Come on now.
You don't think so?
No, no one's friends with Tectone, bro. Come on.
Okay.
The only people friends with Tectone are like Pegasar and Westjeet because they don't have to actually hang out with them. It's just like fucking retards online.
Those guys fucking suck. Yeah, okay. I mean, I could try to hold you to stuff. I get what you're saying, like, emotionally. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying emotionally, but it's basically...
Oh, you don't think, like, people should live their lives,
like,
being, like, good people who have, like, beliefs that they stand by? You don't think that's, like, a good thing to do? Yeah, that's a good thing for you to do.
Yeah, of course they should do that, but it's like, I just think in
But not when it's, like, some nasty cunt on the internet who's telling lies about your friend. Not then.
I just can't get mad at it, right? Like, I just
Well, you don't have to get mad at it. You can just, like, recognize, hey, that's wrong. Brandon Buckingham's, like, kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, Augie's problem here is he's conflating the emotional response, which I think is totally reasonable here. He's conflating the emotional response with principles. Someone's emotional reaction. This is why I was arguing that the gamma point against Soul Skibbity's hypocrisy was, like, fucking retarded, right? Because your emotional reaction and your principles and moral assessment, etc., are different things. And I think everyone can understand the emotional response Augie's giving here.
It's crazy.
It's not the first time he's done
I
some
think
shit
there's an
like this
element to
either.
that why I like it, though, right? There's an element to, like, wow, he really just did that. He did the thing that you're not supposed to do. Like,
I'm trolling you. If you want to talk about that, you can call in. If you want to talk about this, you can call in. It's the same. It's the same argument. You know what? I'm not gonna. Do you want to just call in for discussion? I'm not even gonna debate you. I think we're mostly, except on this issue, I think you'll find that I agree with you on quite more than you'd expect.
joke that is fucking wild, and he
Yeah.
did it to like such an unlikable cunt that has been objectively telling lies about just me personally, along with Tom. I mean, she's been lying about me on the fucking forum too.
Yeah, once again, all of these things justify and explain the emotional response. They're trying to tackle you on principle.
She's been talking about how we all deserve to get hit or whatever, right? When she's the only one who ends up getting hit, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be like, wow.
That's exactly how
nice
people
play.
justify the Ethan
Nice
Klein
fucking
lawsuits
play.
that are just
You wanna
to silence
know how great?
Okay, that's not a just. Okay, nothing he just said is like crazy or like warranting of a head shake. The problem is what you need to do right now. All you need to do for this dialogue is explain. Although I can understand that emotionally, we also logically know that doxing is something that if we were to allow it, would cause tons of people to get harmed. People's families would be brought into shit by virtue of the misdeeds of their loved ones that they might not even know about, etc. Therefore, when somebody does it, even if the person they're doing it to engaged in behavior that makes it incredibly ironic and hard to empathize, we can still, on principle, admit that it is wrong.
Hey, way to not get doxxed.
$2 from Belinda. AIDS gang AG4L, definitely not a cult. Paracult, true.
Don't go in a fucking
That's exactly
forum.
how people
Dude,
Oh my
justify
god!
that.
Now I'm
You're not
talking.
gonna
Now I'm
dox,
literally
don't go in a
talking to
fucking
fucking
forum.
fat wop, dude. I'm literally talking to the fat
Oh my
wop.
god, dude.
Sorry, I
At
got
least
feeling
I-
sympathy
at
for these
least I-
people, and they go on the internet and they say mean things about me, and they
At
say mean
least
things
I'm
about me on the
actually here to
subreddit.
fucking talk, okay?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Come on, dude. But look,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm explaining myself emotionally. I'm trying to explain to you guys how I really feel.
No,
I'm
no,
hearing-
no. I understand what you're saying. You feel, but it's like it feels like pulling teeth trying to get like the belief, the position.
It's not all you need to do, Queeman. All you need to do is explain. And you won't even be defensive, you just say, although I understand those are your beliefs and feelings, and in your perspective, I don't know, maybe that I would feel the same way. And then explain to him the difference between holding a principle, and even if you're like, here, Quinn's like, he already knows this, why do I need to re-explain this or whatever? It's like, well, that will kind of pin him to he can't go back between emotion and principle, right? If you explain the difference between the two and then purely go off of principle and say, do you agree that if we were to allow doxing, it would lead to bad things happening, as opposed to if we were to condemn it universally, right? And Augie would obviously answer yes, and then you would say, okay, well then under that logic, on principle, can't you agree that Brandon doing this is bad?
The opinion, it's just the feeling, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just suspend that, just to have a little bit of fun, right? Like,
I don't think it's
Well,
hard
yeah,
to get
you
the
can-
position.
you can do
he
that,
admitted
but I
like very
mean-
quickly, just real quick. He admitted very, very quickly that like the principle was wrong. It's just like you should probably have a better mapping of what you want to allow versus like what your principles are. Like you shouldn't say,
look,
oh, it's
there's
principally
commentary
wrong,
and
but I allow it
morals,
here 'cause
and
I
then
hate
there's
them.
just real life. You know what I mean? Like, I do think there's like a little bit of a.
It's
look
not
at
even.
things-
Okay, no, this is retarded. It's not commentary morals. It's morals, dude. It's like, is
It
it
is
okay to
morals.
dox people? Is it okay to go and post someone's personal identifying information online for the purpose of
Well,
directing
just to be clear,
harassment towards
my
them?
position on doxing has always been there. I don't have I've never, even in the past, like 5-6 years ago, if you were to hear my position on doxing, I've never had the position of it is never okay to dox people. If people are doxing you, I've always been okay with like counter doxing and stuff like.
Okay, now you have a room to make a clear argument. You would get Augie to say, Augie, do you agree that when somebody gets doxed, sometimes people get the dox wrong? Do you agree that sometimes people's family gets brought into it, etc.? People who have nothing to do with the actions get brought into it by virtue of the initial publicization of personally identifying info pertaining to the individual you believe is deserving of it, right? And he agrees to those, and then you say, okay, then we should just be against doxing in general. Because what does doing it back achieve other than a satisfactory feeling? And is that satisfactory feeling worth risking the well-being and safety of potentially innocent people?
Like that. I've explicitly said that and stuff like that. If people are going after your livelihood and stuff like that, I've always said, and you can pull up clips of this. I don't know where you go to find it. 'Cause
Okay,
I can't
well, what's
remember.
your reasoning for being okay with like counter doxing then? So why is counter doxing okay?
Because they set the morals for what they allow to do to you. So you can treat those same people, you can just hold them to their own moral standard.
Yeah, this was like the line I had when I was like 17, where it's like, just I'll treat them how they want to treat. No, you don't. Just because other people's standards are fucked doesn't mean you have to use. You can use their own standards on them when you're proving hypocrisy. That's when that would be relevant. But no, your standards don't just get to shift to theirs when it comes to getting back at them if your entire problem is with their standards.
If they say, okay, doxing you is okay, then you can be like, okay, sure, let's live by your worldview. Now I do it to you, right?
When are you going to enable? So once again, channel memberships, I don't have the option to do that because I have old VODs, ad suitability, copyright claim, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to edit some. I'm going to get rid of some of the ones that are like the late night gaming streams and shit, that there was nothing notable to happen, etc. And I'll see if memberships open up then as a result of that.
Okay, so if someone like,
believe me, I would if I knew it if I could. I love money. Speaking of loving money, you can tip through Streamlabs, Super Chat. Another great way to support us is by liking the stream. In these trying times, it lets me know that you're actually a person that is really here.
Rapes you. It's okay to rape them back.
Yeah.
I think Jesus said that, right?
Okay.
Like,
I'm pretty sure that's literally what's in the
That's
Bible.
in the Bible?
They say,
Yeah.
you should engage
for
in
an eye leaves
retribution
everybody
against people who
with
wrong
20/20
you.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't this wrath? Isn't what he's describing wrath? Well, yeah, this is a deadly sin.
For sure.
Well, no, you should have a forgiveness and you should turn the other way, right? Obviously.
Well, that's not what you think, though, is it? That's not how you live, and that's not what you think.
No, but I don't think that most people that I encounter are operating under this like Christian morality, right? I'm very big on just treating people like how.
Well, I just don't
you were
understand. Me personally, I don't really understand the point in just fucking retribution. Like, if there's a, I can understand some niche circumstances.
Well, I think it's okay to be, if somebody.
How do you call in? Yeah, so if you want to call in, my Discord server, the link is in the description. My ground keeps trying the heat, so I now have a fucking rag. Dude, I'm gonna be sweating on I have a sweat rag. So what you're gonna do to call in, you're gonna hit the Discord link in the description. There's then gonna be a voice chat that says call in. You just join that, wait in there, I'll drag you in, and then we can have a discussion. Give me 2 seconds. I have to go pee. Then we can have a chat. Hold on. All right, we're back. So, is this person in call-ins? Yes. Sick. Somebody that actually wants to call in. Wait, hold on. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wait, it's you. Are you the guy that wants to call him from chat?
Oh yeah. No, I have like a serious point to make.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my issue, right? Do you think that she should have been doxxed by Brandon?
No.
Okay, so do you think, let's say you find a person on the internet who's harassing minors, right? This guy actively seeks out minors and he's stalking them, he's being really weird to them, he's making sexual comments about them. And this guy's anonymous. Do you think it's good to have this guy's docs out there?
To someone that can do something about it, like law enforcement, yes. That's not really going to be of much interest to the kids that need to avoid it.
I'm saying,
sorry?
I'm saying, do you think that people should be out there trying to dox this guy, like the guy who's harassing minors?
No, I don't think they should.
Why not?
Because I think that it offers zero reward and only risk. For example, if you get the wrong guy in the course of doxing, which happens all the time, there's a term fail dox, right? You will now have smeared an innocent person as a pedophile. And people could potentially blame and then go after this guy's family for his own pedophilic predilections, which we know many times the family doesn't really have any control over. It's a genetic and partial environment. I don't want to get into that.
Assuming you know that this guy's identity is correct, like 100%, would you still think it's wrong to dox him?
No.
Okay. So now, in this case, the dox that Brandon put out was clearly not like a failed dox. Like, it's clearly is her. And he knows that because he's friends with Tom. Now, the argument I would make is that I think you can make a ton of arguments to like dox people. I think if you know for sure, by that I mean if there's no doubt in your mind, you know this person personally, you have met them or you know them as a person, and you, let's say, know that they're harassing minors, they're being weird towards minors. I think putting their docs out there to identify them as the person who is doing this is a good idea. Similarly, for this woman who lied about sexual assault, who literally tried to frame Tom as like a pseudo rapist, I think it's good to have her docs out there because if when she inevitably tries to do this to like some other person in the future, people can associate her name with the fact that she lies about stuff like this, and that is very important.
If you
I
think
think that
if you think some guy she matches with on Tinder, like IRL or whatever, is like actually gonna find Brandon Buckingham's post, it doesn't. They could.
no, what I mean is that if she tries to like pull this shit again, which means that she tries to like falsely accuse people of like sexual assault, then there's a very clear track record of her lying about it, which I think should be associated with her name. So I think it's completely fair to like have her docs.
Okay, that's should be associated with her name. So what do you mean by that?
Yes.
Like, what is the benefit?
What I mean by that is that let's say in the future, let's say 5 years down the line, then people have forgotten about this inevitably. Let's say she has BPD. So let's say she meets some other guy and like she BPDs out, and then she like falsely alleges that he basically sexually assaulted her. I think that, for example, it could be public knowledge, or like that guy can use the fact that Brandon Buckingham basically showed that this is the woman who falsely alleged Tom to like prove himself right, or like prove himself as a person who didn't do this stuff. And the fact that she's known.
Sorry, what is being proven? What is being okay? Tom's video comes out.
Yeah.
What was additionally proven by Brandon posting her account that wasn't proven in Tom's video?
All Brandon did is like show that this girl, whatever her name was, is a person who actively lies about like people sexually assaulting her and people unconsensually recording her, which means that now her name is forever associated as a person who does lie about these things. And I don't think that the fact, if she would have remained anonymous, then she could have probably screwed over some other guy who might not be smart enough to like have the text like Tom does, and she could have potentially ruined his life. So I think the fact that people know for a fact that this woman specifically lies about stuff like this is a really good thing to have on the internet. Just like I think it's good to have doxes of known pedophiles or like known child molesters on the internet.
Well, but so is the standpoint like, because you're saying what it ought to be, and I get like emotionally that sounds just. That sounds like justice to me, right? But in terms of like when we're looking at the utility of this, do you think it actually prevents anything?
Well, it potentially does prevent a lot of things. It potentially gives like for example, I think, let's say, I think when you're dating in like 2026, it's very natural to like look up people on the internet, right? The fact that her name is going to show up as someone who actively lies about sexual assault is going to help a ton of people avoid like girls like her. I think in the future, even if let's say this does die down and she does assault, if she lies about someone assaulting her, then people can potentially look up her history and see that she was the one who falsely alleged something about Tom. And I think not having her docs out there is much more harmful, because what would happen is that inevitably, if she does try and like pull the shit again, then someone else will have to like go through the thing that Tom had to do, which is like publicly air out all of their bullshit. That person might not even have those things saved. And that saves them a ton of trouble to like show that, okay, this person is a known liar, which means that that person can potentially save their reputation, which is why I think it's like good to have it out there. I think not having it out there is a much worse outcome.
Yeah. So do you believe, okay, so people make this mistake. You believe like acts don't just occur in isolation. To permit one is to set a principle that under the given criterion, in a certain case, this would actually be okay. The question then becomes, okay, if we want to link people who do bad things online to their real personas, there's accountability and the shame and caution by those who know them on a personal level. Why wouldn't anyone online with a grievance who believes the person they're arguing with is a horrible human being, which we see all the time, even if that's not true, right? Why shouldn't they say everybody should know what a horrible human being this person is, and link their name to the account, right? Why what would be the differentiating factor?
Okay, here's the differentiating factor, right? Like a ton of people want to dox like edgy people online, like people who say the N-word, people who make the jokes online. Clearly, that's infinitely less worse than lying about sexual assault, right? Like, why would you think it's a good idea to like have a dox of like, let's say I know for certain that there's this pedophile who's out there harassing children. You said earlier you think it's a good idea to have their docs out there. I would argue, like, I would ask you, why do you think it's a good idea to have their docs out there?
Yeah, okay. For the pedophile, I don't think it would. Okay, if it is being done by actors online, I don't think it'd be a good idea, because if we're talking, I think the implication here is this is occurring over the internet, and pedophiles abuse and engage online. I'd even go as far as to guess that like probably half of all people that are engaged in pedophilic activity online go by a pseudonym, so and can change that at will. So even if their name is like linked to this in a public context, their ability to victimize children doesn't really go away. What you could do to prevent that, because EDP, for example, he got completely fucking humiliated, the cupcake video. He never got convicted though, or to my knowledge, he never had to register, and then he got caught trying to do it again in Gideon's server, and he could have gotten away with it, right? He could have gotten away with it. The public embarrassment and linking his name to this activity bears no relevance when the target is an influential minor that's probably not doing deep research of their own and could easily be could easily fall influence to suggestion. So the publicization of the name, in my mind, in the context we're talking about, doesn't really do a whole lot in terms and only serves to encourage private actors to go and take measures to publicize what they believe to be the information of people who do bad stuff online. And that principle, when applied in mass, will lead to innocent people being harmed for a benefit that doesn't justify it.
Principle. The principle isn't, I think this guy's a pedophile, or like I don't know for sure, which means I'm going to take a preemptive measure and do this. That's not the principle that anyone's endorsing for. Everyone knew the name. Like, for example, Brandon knew for certain what this girl's name was. I ask you, okay, I can ask you, I can give you like another hypothetical. Let's say in your Discord, there's like this kid in your Discord, right? And some random guy joins in. He starts like sexually, like, I don't know, fucking molesting this kid online. And then you, as a person, know like this pedophile who's in your server, like in real life. So you know who this guy is. He's going under a pseudonym in your Discord server. You obviously report him to police. You take like legal action. That's fine. Now you, Aiden, know who this pedophile is. His name, where he lives, everything about him. And you also know that he definitely like sexually molested or like sexually texted some kid in your Discord. Would you not publish his name, or would you not publish the fact that you know this pedophile on the internet? Do you think it's worse for you to like publish his name on the internet than not? Do you think it'll be more harmful to publish this known pedophile's name on the internet, or do you think it's more helpful for people to like associate this name with this known pedophile? Is what I'll ask you. In this situation, what will you do?
I wouldn't. I would report it to the police. I'd remove him from my server. I'd make sure there was full transparency with law enforcement, because that's the only end I'd be looking to achieve. If I was to go and publicize his name myself, I would be setting a precedent that if you believe that you know the identity of someone who's done something bad, publicly post it, right? And to set that precedent will lead to innocent people being hurt.
Keep hiding under the fact that it's not bad things. Like, I'm not like, no one's out there like telling people like dox people for like, let's say, fucking being edgy on the internet. Sexual, like lying about sexual assault, harassing children, these are like bottom of the barrel.
But you do the thing that people who argue for the death penalty do, where you're just assuming, even if for example I say this, because people have argued with me a lot on my stance on the death penalty. We have somebody that I absolutely know is like a disgusting fucking murderer. And although I'm against the death penalty on principle, right, if they died, I wouldn't care. But I still wouldn't permit it, because to allow them to receive the death penalty allows the death penalty to be accepted on principle in certain circumstances, which causes all the harms that come with it. The risk to taking a wrongfully accused person's life, etc., for the only benefit really being emotional satisfaction. And I don't believe...
No one's saying that it's emotional satisfaction. I don't think that people should be out there doxing like anyone who they think like should be like should like deserve revenge. Like, that's not what anyone's arguing for. Like, the very specific argument that's being made here is that I think okay, I'll agree with you here. I don't think Brandon Buckingham doxed her because like he thought it would avoid future allegations. I know that he doxed her because he fucking hated her. Like I think he like saw that like she was going after like his kids or whatever, and like he doxed her out of like an emotional reaction. I still think that the dox was good because it will definitely like. Here's a case, right? I feel like in this specific case, like they exactly know who lied about the sexual assault, and that's why they're publishing like her information. I'm sure a ton of people will agree that if a person is videotaped like murdering someone else, and then they potentially, let's say, if they're like up there for like the death penalty, a ton of people will say yes, give them the death penalty. How would you argue for like, for example, not punishing someone who you have indefensible proof did something? Do you not think that there exists any notion of like indefensible like evidence for like any action?
No, there is, but there's also. Are you familiar with rule utilitarianism?
No.
Okay, so essentially, right? Essentially, actions don't just like stand on their own. Permitting it in this isolated instance you give allows for the acceptability of its usage, right? And the acceptability of its usage inevitably will lead to cases where it's not a slam dunk 100% guilty, right? When people are executed in this country, the people sending them to die believe they did it. They all believe with certainty that they did it. And as the years have gone on, we have found out that a lot of people, in fact, didn't actually do it, right? The thing is, even if you could show me a case where I'd be, the only way I would accept that is if a genie allowed me to impose this death penalty or whatever one time and it was never imposed again. The problem is that's not how reality works. Once you allow that and set that precedent, people will do it again. We believe this guy's guilty. Why not give him the chair? Why not? And it leads to the rationale you have for the death penalty in its existence today, which has and will kill innocent people for a benefit that is marginal and would not justify the death of innocent people. I believe that any means you hope to achieve through the publication of this person's name, like if we're talking in the case of a pedophile, you can easily report it to the police. When we're talking in like her case, I'd potentially like pursue there's not really like I'd potentially pursue legal action if you have a civil case, but there's not like a whole lot you can do in publicizing her name. Just sets the principle to your large fan base that if somebody's a really bad person, we can post what we believe is their info, and people will post what they believe is someone's info that's not actually.
So is your argument that like, this shouldn't be done because some people might abuse it? Because I don't know if you like. I'm pretty sure you're on the internet enough to know that people dox regardless. Like this isn't like this principle isn't holding them back from like doing anything. Like all you're doing is
we're not supposed to be some people in this like sphere. We're supposed to be principled. We're supposed to have standards because the notion of commentary. And I know Brandon's not a commentator, but he's kind of like he hangs with them and Tom, etc. But like you're criticizing other people and applying principles to other people in the course of picking apart them or their content. We have to remain principled, and yeah, just because other people are fucking it up doesn't mean we need to go and encourage more people to take this into their own hands and fuck it up.
Okay, but like here's the issue, right? In this case, in this particular case, there's no particular like reason so there's no mistake that Brandon Buckingham can make here. Like he knows exactly who it is, and we have evidence for the fact that she did lie about like him like doing sexual assault. So what if we like make this specific principle, which is that if you know the person and if you have indefensible evidence, which you did agree there does exist in this particular case, then you should dox them. Do you think, like, for example, if we had some magical principle which said that, if the only way someone can dox someone else is if it's confirmed, like it for sure happened, like whatever like action that they're being demonized for, like if the only way a person can dox someone else is if they are a pedophile or if they do lie about sexual assault, if that's the only way people can dox someone else, do you think then doxes would be like good? Or
no,
do you think that?
Because I think there's because I think that nobody's actually argued for enough of a benefit there. When people do this, they are sure of it. They do think it's confirmed until it's not confirmed and they realize they fucked up, right? In this case, I agree with you, it is confirmed. I don't think anything will come out that makes it not confirmed, but to show people that we actually accept this if the person is bad enough, incentivizes people to take this into their own hands in the future, right? Which, when applied, will lead to harm that cannot be justified by any argued benefits for the publicization of her name.
People like for any particular thing you do in the world, there's a chance that like the belief that you're doing it on is misplaced. Like for any possible thing, there's like the remote chance that like whatever. For example, tomorrow, let's say I do like I go out and like for example, I see like some guy randomly like harassing women. I report it. There's a chance I could have been wrong about it. There's a chance that I can be wrong about like a ton of different things. I don't think that should dissuade people who genuinely believe things from like, and by genuinely believe things, I mean like they have undeniable proof of these things to keep from doing it. Like, for example,
it won't dissuade everyone. But let's say we have a chatter that's in the commentary sphere that for a long time has seen how doxing gets you alienated. It's a giant no. You can't do it, etc.
No, okay. Doxing does not get you alienated. Doxing random people who have done nothing just to harass them is what gets you alienated.
In the commentary community?
Yes,
no, we've on principle. On principle, doxing has always been accepted here. That the doxing.
Name one person who has doxed like a pedophile and has been alienated by the commentary community, or like who has doxed like a sexual abuser or someone of that sort. Someone who has doxed these people who has been alienated.
That's a very.
I can't remember like a scene. Well, I've been watching commentary for about 5 years.
Because we don't know who in commentary has tried to do that.
Exactly. I'm sure like no one has done that. But like
so then obviously there's not going to be anything to alienate them for.
Well, I don't know. I do think that if I'm sure if like someone looks hard enough, they'll find like some person trying to like dox like a pedophile. Again, I feel like the issue is I'm not saying that you should dox anyone who you think is a pedophile. I feel like there are very limited circumstances where you know for certain that someone's a pedophile, and then you would dox them.
Yeah, but everyone who's going and doing this thinks they know. That's why they're doing it. They think they know. The problem is human beings are flawed. We think we know things that we turn out to be wrong about all the time.
Okay, sure, but I'm like, okay, people, for example, like when a jury acts on like a court case, right? When a jury acts on a court case, they believe that they have all of the relevant information and then they sentence someone. Do you think that people should stop doing that because there's a small chance that like they might have gotten it wrong?
No, because there's utility in imprisoning someone who we believe has committed an egregious crime or a crime in general.
And why is there no utility in like doxing someone when you think that you have all of the evidence? That is undeniable.
Because doxing isn't a necessary preventative step. I believe that imprisonment in response to certain crimes is a necessary step.
Okay, forget the potential of abuse. Do you think, for example, in this one particular case, right, in this simple case where we know Tom's girlfriend exactly ex-girlfriend who she was, and we know exactly that she lied about sexual assault. In this particular case, forgetting like the potential for future abuse, do you think that her doxing out there does not do any good at all?
No, I can't. You could bring me some hypothetical that hasn't happened yet, where like the stars could fucking align, and maybe it has some benefit. But even then, once again, that potential for a benefit would not be enough for me to, on principle, say that this tactic should be permitted if set arbitrary criterion are met, which could encourage viewers to feel like, I know this person's a bad person too. Let me go and put their name out. Like, people take it into their own hands, etc. This is why vigilantism is a bad idea, right? There's a guy that like shot the dude that like molested his son or whatever, and it's like, you know, like I feel for the dad that shot. But simultaneously, vigilantism shouldn't be permitted or tolerated in society, even if in one instance it occurs against somebody who actually deserved it, because vigilantism doesn't allow for the same scrutiny, oversight, etc. that law enforcement in a trial would. More chances to get it wrong, more chances for justice not actually be served. That's why, even though I knew the guy was a pedophile that he shot, I think that we shouldn't permit vigilantism, because the results of permitting it would result in bad outcomes.
I think that's like I think it's like a completely, like, I sort of get where you're coming from, but I feel like most reasonable people in this particular situation would have no issue in like doxing it. And I don't think I think the issue that you're having here is that you keep like twisting the principle into like, if someone else believes that like someone else is like a pedophile, then they should dox them.
Yeah,
I think you can definitely
because
establish. I think you can establish like a set of criteria by which, for example, you can allow the death penalty or you can allow like doxing. I think if you literally see someone, for example, molesting a girl, then I think it should be fine to like go out there and like dox them or go out there and say, okay, this guy's like a pedophile. After like obviously reporting it to like the police. That's at least that's what they teach us in like Jerusalem. I don't know about you. I don't know what school you went to, but like back in like Tel Aviv, that's what they teach us.
Are you Israeli?
Oh no.
Got it. Okay. Well, okay. So I think that the fundamental where we're getting lost here is that I reject the notion that that these acts will just occur in isolation. Like that when an act for me to agree with you, and I can see where you're coming from, I would have to ignore that acts, especially acts being committed by public figures with large fan bases, I would have to ignore that those do have an effect on like normalization of certain things in the community, the permittance of certain tactics, etc. And
wait, so are you saying that Leo Convoy was your victim? Like you victimized him by like doxing him?
I didn't dox him. I reposted.
You literally said his name.
I said his name. Oh no, he says his name. That's not a dox.
Okay. So wait. So you're saying that you didn't victimize him by like not doxing him?
I didn't victimize him. I think I partially victimized his wife, but I don't think it was. I reposted because of like Lio's own stupidity. They got doxed like years prior, and then like I was being like a fucking edgy drunk lord weirdo, and I reposted it in a closed chat on my server with like 100 people, so it obviously would have been leaked, and that was reckless as fuck. Yeah.
Okay, so like,
so in principle, I think what I did is wrong.
You still think what you did is wrong? Didn't Leo Convoy message minors?
Okay, Lio Convoy's not message minors in the way that you're insinuating.
What do you mean? That's what you said.
No, he's message. Okay, when you say he's message minors in no context, you understand there's a certain implication being made. To my knowledge, Lio Convoy has never been implicated in any pedophilic or acts or anything of that nature. My criticism is that, in regards to the CSEM shit, is that he gave or entertained insanely reckless advice.
We said on the stream that you doxed him because you thought he was like a low-key pedophile because he like messaged minors.
I said he was a pedophile. I don't think I've ever claimed he was a pedophile. I literally disputed Malcolm's assertion that Lio was a groomer.
No, Queeman said that, so I like believed it.
Am I being trolled?
No, dude, I like fucking debated with you for like almost half an hour because like, I mean, we debated on the fact that you don't think that pedophiles should be like doxed. I'm like, I think the exact issue that Augie was having on like his debate was that he kept like he wasn't making like the argument that I'm making because I think like he was too emotional. But like Queeman being like a total snake and like a British freak who probably like molests kids himself, tried to like twist Augie's words into like twist Augie's word into like being like emotional. But I think Augie had like, the same.
But Queeman's right. Okay, although I agree with some of your statements about Queeman, he is right on that. Like Augie, from an emotional perspective, it is completely understandable why Augie feels the way he does. But then we have like actual principles, and I think that on principle, this wouldn't be an okay act under Augie's own standards and the standards of like the rest of the community.
Augie has always said that he thinks that like doxing pedophiles is okay. Like he had a big debate where he thought like I think him and Nick had a debate where they argued on the ethics of doxing. Like let's say someone like ADP, like when these vigilantes
but he's literally been an advocate. You could watch the last episode of Hooked. He's been an advocate for like retarded vigilantism. That you could watch how that argument plays out for him to give without oversight, without any like formal process or consequence, to give powers of essential life ruination to allow for members of the public to wield those powers and permit it, right? Even if in an isolated instance, nobody's gonna cry that it happened to a certain person, will lead to unnecessary harm.
Okay, so like, wait, let me get this straight. Like, the Jewish guy is telling me that we shouldn't dox pedophiles. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think we should dox anyone.
That's just cap, bro. Like, I think the issue is I don't think like any person, any principled person would ever like, let's say they do know like someone's a pedophile, and I think there are tons of examples of like someone being a known pedophile. I think if you literally see your friend, for example, molesting like a kid, you report it to the police, and this person is like a known online figure. I think it's excellent to like basically out their name. If the person goes behind like anonymous YouTube channel, it's totally fine to like dox them.
You could think but that's the emotion thing. I think I would think that's like super cool too, but I still think it's wrong. Like when I say super, like I'd be like,
utility of like doxing this person, like being a child molester online, a big YouTuber, you literally see molesting a kid, and you still wouldn't dox him online. A person who can literally while the police investigation is going on,
why would I do that other than to feel good? I would report him to the fucking police. I would publicly mention that such and such YouTuber was caught engaging in make it publicly known that this persona has been linked to said behavior, and then for personal consequences and investigations in regards to like the personal side of things, I'd leave that to law enforcement, who, although they, it's a bit questionable, right? There is some oversight there. There are standards, there are procedures to prevent the unnecessary risks that would occur if we were to just hand this and delegate this responsibility to the general public to happen.
No, you're not handing anything to the general public. Like, the issue is you literally see someone molesting a kid, you report it to the police, investigations are going on, this person goes behind an anonymous YouTube channel that has, let's say, 1 million followers. You don't think there's any utility in like outing the fact that this person has this name?
So there is potential utility, and then there are evident harms. And in my opinion, the evident harms, based on the rule, based on the principle, would outweigh the utility from the given isolated act.
No, I think that's like complete cap. I think you can identify 1 million different uses of like doxing like a big YouTuber who you literally see like molesting a kid online.
Okay, can I give you a hypothetical? Let's say somebody was molesting a kid. You're at his house, he's looking away from you for a moment. You see like a nice blunt trophy that you could pick up and bash his head in and kill him. Why don't you do it?
Yeah. I think it was like visual, like for example, I don't think it would be legal for me to kill him while like.
Do you think it should be legal to allow people to kill people they believe are pedophiles?
No, I think it should be legal to kill someone who's molesting a kid in front of
you.
Wait,
but wouldn't killing the pedophile stop him from molesting more kids?
No, you said I think that it should be legal to like kill people who you believe are pedophiles. I'm saying I think if you see there's a complete difference between believing someone and literally seeing someone molest a kid in front of you. Like there's
okay. So let's say you see him. You see him do this to a kid. You have him alone later in the night. Why should you be able to kill him?
Yes, I think you should be able to kill him.
Okay, and it's gonna be and then the okay. So just so you know, okay. So if I'm ever arrested for like murdering a business rival or whatever, I'm just gonna say I saw him molesting a kid, and then handcuffs off. I go for it.
Saying that you can lie about like evidence, like I'm sure.
That's why we shouldn't allow the rule to That's why we shouldn't allow the rule to exist then, right? Because even if you saw it, you know what happened, and you murder him, to permit that in society would allow potentially someone like the person I was just pretending to be to actually go and do the same shit in a malicious manner.
Wait, so you don't think for example, you don't believe in like American self-defense laws?
That we're not talking about self-defense. That's why the hypothetical involves you. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, my bad. My laptop died. But yeah, don't you believe in like American self-defense laws?
That wouldn't. Oh no. I'm saying if you have the guy alone later, after the act has occurred, there would be no self-defense justification there. You see him, he's looking down at something, you have the opportunity to kill him, and you take it, right? So the self-defense laws wouldn't
No,
apply.
I'm not saying I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm asking you whether you believe in American self-defense laws.
It depends on.
Like, do you believe that, for example, if someone is intruding in your house, right? If someone is intruding in your house and you believe that they pose a threat to your life, do you think that, for example, that's
Wait, I gotta interrupt you. I gotta interrupt you. I gotta interrupt you. Oh, now he's alone. Well, so YouTube has this cool feature where you can rewind, and maybe if your fucking ears work, you could like listen to where I actually had said that before, that you have him alone later on at night and bash his head in. I said that exact statement prior. So, go eat a dick and die. Sorry, what were you saying?
Okay, my bad. I thought you were talking to me. No, what I was saying was that if okay, for example, I think a ton of American states have like self-defense laws, right? They have laws in which if you believe that someone is a reasonable threat towards you and they're intruding in your house, that you can essentially shoot them. Now, this law is clearly like, quote unquote, I feel like a ton of people can, for example, lie about like people entering their house and like shoot them, or they can lie about a ton of things, and this law is prone to to being abused. In the United Kingdom, for example, you cannot possess a single weapon, or you cannot possess any single thing that you want to use as self-defense while on your person or in your house. For example, that's like the opposite of like what they have in the US. Because they essentially don't want people to like abuse the law of like self-defense. So I'm asking you, if, for this particular example, for self-defense, which law do you think is better, the UK one or the US one?
Probably the US one.
Okay, but then don't you admit that there's a lot of ton of abuse issues there? Ton of people can lie.
Yes,
for example, if you invite someone
150%.
over.
Yes, now we're getting
Then
to the
why
heart.
not
Now
law?
we're
Why
getting
don't you find something
yes, okay, I can answer you. Now we're getting to the heart of what utility calculus is, right? So although, let's say in this case, the risks are exactly the same as if I let you kill anyone you thought was a pedophile, right? Let's say it's the same. The difference would be we look at the benefits in aggregation with the risks, and if the benefits are substantial enough, then they can therefore justify those risks being in place.
Okay, but like, how does that come into like the law itself? Like in the law, what you do is that like for example, let's say in Texas, if you, for example, if you see someone enter your house and you believe that they're a reasonable threat, like they possess, like they're posing a reasonable threat to your life, then you can shoot them. And then that law specifically is clearly prone to abuse, because I'm sure like there are a ton of cases where people lie about like sexual. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, but then you've independent oversight and police investigation and like forensic analysis, which has happened where people then get convicted despite falsely attempting to use the claim of self-defense. Now, is everyone who does this caught? Probably not, right? But once again, the notion of allowing innocent people to defend themselves from harm upon intrusion and potentially their family by proxy, which would bring additional harm into it, the utility offered by that is much more necessary and evident as opposed to getting that pedophile prosecuted and taken off the, like killing the pedophile instead of going to the police, getting him prosecuted and registered as a sex offender for life and going to
utility calculus, like innocent deaths due to like this law due to abuse is like much more important than like, for example, a few failed doxes by like people who like
because allowing the dox doesn't do enough benefit where that would even be justified. It really just sounds like an eye for an eye, like a feel good kind of thing.
No, I think in this particular case, which I've explained a ton of times, it's not as simple as just like being like humiliating the skull. Like I'm sure Brandon wanted to humiliate the skull, but I think like it still was a good action, because any future boyfriends who look her up are going to like know that she's like someone who lies about sexual assault. Excellent thing. I think that's a good utility. I think that's like a good thing to have out there. I think if she does pull this crap again 10, 20 years in the future, other people will have an avenue to like point out that she's a known liar, which means that like, for example, innocent men won't get caught in like her BPD crossfire. I think it's an excellent thing that what happened with like Brandon Buckingham. And I think in general with like the utility calculus that you were mentioning, I think if you think that like self-defense has like a better, like self-defense laws have like a better utility calculus and like a few failed doxes as opposed to like getting pedophiles and like women who lie about sexual assault getting like doxed and like being outed online, I think that like the doxing has like better utility than, for example, like innocent deaths happening. Like I think if you are someone who's against the death penalty because of innocent deaths, while you still allow laws like self-defense, like the aggressive self-defense laws, which are prone to abuse, which probably do
because do you want to know the difference? You want to know the fundamental difference? killing somebody who's already imprisoned on death row and in the modern prison system is unlikely to ever escape does absolutely nothing to prevent additional harm. It is just a feel-good thing. Self-defense, if it is used as intended, is meant to prevent that additional harm, right? So allowing it on principle, although just like the death penalty, there's risk of oversight, etc., standing on its own, the benefits of this are so substantial that those risks are worthy of taking. Because the alternative would be, okay, if somebody does break into your house and does have evident intent to harm you, do nothing, right? Just do nothing and take it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying exactly that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like for example, some actions which are prone to abuse have like good payoffs. Similarly, I think any reasonable interpretation of like a solid evidence to like dox someone is good. I think. Okay, I guess like another issue I would have is that let's say in the anonymous YouTuber case, like you see an anonymous like a YouTuber who has not published his name molesting a child, he gets convicted for it, and let's say he serves like a suspended sentence. So you know for certain that the courts have convicted him. Would you still think it's bad to dox him?
But I still think, well, he would already his name would be, they would already be, the information would
No,
already.
no one knows like this guy's like the YouTuber himself. Like, why would they like know that he's the one who's running this YouTube channel? He like independently molests some kid. Like he just like people think he's on a break, and then he comes back, he gets a suspended sentence, and he starts posting again. Do you think this guy should be doxxed? You know for certain that he runs this channel and he has molested a kid. Do you think he should be doxxed? I think it's a very obvious answer, which is like yes. People should know who exactly this person is.
It's not enough because in isolation, I would absolutely say yes to you here. This is where my conflict is. I would say yes to you here. I'm trying to.
Why? Your principal shouldn't allow you to say yes.
No, that's why I'm saying in isolation, I would say yes, but with the understanding of the principle and its application, right? I have to ask myself, would permitting this on principle cause way more harm than the potential? But in that specific case, there is potentially, if it is done, if you can argue that this is a necessary preventative step to more people being harmed, you might have a point. Then maybe you might have a point.
Okay, but I think
I just don't see that here.
If your principle does not allow you to dox like this person in this particular instance, then I think it's like very indicative to like show you that you have these ridiculous scenarios where it's obviously good to like dox people, and if your quote unquote principles still don't allow them, and you have another set of principles. For example, you could have the principle to like have, for example, if someone else gets convicted of a crime and he's anonymous, then I think, and he, let's say, has like some influence online, then I think it's good to dox them. Very easy criteria to follow. It's not prone to misabuse unless people just lie about like the criteria not being followed. Then I think this is a very easy test to like dox someone.
But people can lie about that, and you understand that when people are doxing do you believe that online?
But you can't lie about someone like being convicted of a crime. Those records are public.
You can accidentally. This has happened before. Keemstar on Drama Alert thought RS Glory and Gold was this guy that a public record showed had been convicted of numerous sex offenses. He releases this on Drama Alert. It's not the same guy.
Keemstar got clowned on for like an entire year.
But at the time when Keem did it, he thought this guy is a pedophile. Here's the records right here. And he's still that factor of human error. Keemstar
is a retard. Like he cannot like look up
no,
public
but it's
records.
not just about Keem.
Okay, if the argument is that okay, a very simple criteria, if someone gets convicted of a sexual crime, you literally know them in person, and you know you've seen this person go to court, or you know for certain that this person has been like convicted of this, he's anonymous, and then you dox them. And let's say the only issue, like the only potential misabuse here is someone failing to read a name correctly or failing to like correctly identify the person, then yes, that means that the only people who are going to be abusing this or accidentally abusing this are like retards who cannot read or who cannot like look at pictures.
Yes, and the internet is filled with the internet is filled with morons. That's why we shouldn't delegate this responsibility to anybody who wants to volunteer from the general public.
Why self-defense? Like why are you for self-defense? Like this law is easily is way more abusable than like the principle of like
because in a scenario that would actually necessitate and require self-defense, there's no voluntary option of participation.
Okay, I gotta go to like fuck.
Goodbye.
I gotta go to like my rabbi. Like I have like I have synagogue right now. My bad.
Bye. Okay. I just like wish people understood that things just don't always occur in isolation, especially when it's being done by respected influencers, right? If it's being like it, Brandon is literally has people that watch him or a fan of his and look up to him, and it's like some like fucking 17-year-old kid is like, oh, like if a girl's like lying on your fucking friend, post her shit or whatever, and there are tons of people that have friends that genuinely do shit to girls that believe the girl is lying about their friend. Right? There's tons of people like that. There's tons of people like that. Those people can then go and dox somebody that off of this like false belief, but at the time of doing it, just like with Brent, they're 100% certain. It's because human error exists, and for members of the general public, there isn't this oversight and like standards applied and fear of consequence that would allow this principle to be applied in a safe manner. But I mean, yeah, if anyone also Green, you're retarded, by the way, for being like, you just proved a few. There weren't just like a few lies proven. It was proven, intent was proven, motive to lie was proven in regards to her blackmail threats. The fact that some of the facts that she brought up in the course of trying to smear Tom on Kiwi Farms post-breakup never occurred or were never immediately stated in the moment he was breaking up with her. The fact that she overtly lied about every nature of sexual participation, recordings, etc., completely omitted that there was established consent in recording their sex acts, right? Never like the other thing too is it's not Tom's job to prove a negative. Tom absolutely it would be he said she said, except Tom got the closest you could do to doing that, and proved that she said whatever she fucking says shouldn't be utilized as evidence because she clearly fucking lies in direct relation to the allegations. So it wasn't just like, well, the burden here is on her to prove her claims. And the claims that she made are outright contradicted by the evidence that he's provided. In a normal case, if all the facts say the same, Tom might not even have the evidence I'm surprised she did this all over iMessage. Someone like her would do it over Snap, maybe delete it. You consider sharing a public profile to be a dox? Genuine question. Depends on, almost every instance of doxing I've seen involves sharing a public profile, right? Like, for example, if you were to go and find like my parents' Facebook that is public from when I was like a little kid and link it to me and be like, these are his parents, that would be a dox. The reason it would be a dox, under the definition that I've consistently provided, is that you are taking, normally with malicious intent in mind, you are taking personally identifiable info, whether or not this personally identifiable info was in the public realm or whether it was you have to hack a fucking computer to get it, which most cases of doxing don't involve. You are taking the personal info that you've obtained and you are the one that is linking it to a private online anonymous persona, typically with malicious intent. Therefore, it would be doxing because you're establishing the link between the info and the persona. So even though the LinkedIn is public, it's still doxing. $2 from Gooner42. Did you get the Mr. Obvious debate? I did not. Thank you, Belinda, with the 2. Blushing pair. Thank you, Belinda, with the other 2. Please notice the blushing pair. I did just notice the blushing pair. $2 from Patrick. Is it true that Queeman is an anime pillow of his waifu? Yes. Belinda with the 2. Always keep a towel by the desk in case of spills. Yeah, this one I need it. We've had too many coffee streams. blended with the other two, I'll never forgive Augie for the Edwin betrayal. So true. $2 from Soul Skibbity. Told you, this is better than the slop yo mama. True, because someone actually was willing to call in and debate. I don't really get that much anymore. Well, with that being said, as we wrap up here, people, make sure to like on your way out, and I will be seeing you when I see you. Best wishes. Take care, guys.